could be quite big.
And I suppose that's where it comes down to testing yourselves, getting in the waters, throwing yourself down, and picking the IGL, listening to that one individual player. There's many out there on many different teams, but only one can lead them to victory. It looks like game one, map one, day one is about to get underway. It's going to be Miramar. The plane is in the air. And honestly, Matt, we have no idea where these teams are going. We've seen the scrims. We can try and guesstimate all day. But for all we know, we could have hot drops straight off the bat.
And that's what I love about these first couple of rounds of events. Sometimes it can be a little chill where everybody's just trying to figure out what's going on. But this is a tempo-setting game, because now everybody's going to get a little bit of extra space on the point boards, or we might actually have to see them trying to catch back up onto it. So naturally, everybody's going to be a little bit calm off the get-go, but nobody knows how this could lay out. We can see there is a clump of people going right over Chumasera right now. That looks like that's Japan and Turkey. Naturally, we also have a couple of teams that are going to be looking for buying for potentially Picado back over towards the north. I wouldn't be surprised if we see San Martin get a little bit of attention as well.
The road to being crowned the Nations Cup 2019 champion starts now. Remember, we are only 3 days of this competition. There is only 15 games. If you muck this up early on and you go down in 16th, you're losing points early. Initial, we said this, contact could be made potential. It is. Japan and Turkey, they meet. They're on the far side, down to the south, more towards the Kumasiri side. You have the high side, you have the low side. At the moment, I think the initial one might be Mur here.
Japan's got the guns. You can see they're just on the hunt. Turkey is going to be the first blood of this event. But I think everybody else from Turkey is already on the run, trying to separate out as much as they can.
If I'm not mistaken, this did actually happen, the same scenario in the scrims. Japan took the high side, Turkey got the low, and they were forced down. They had to back out from this.
Oh, that
screen,
circle.
I'm just seeing...
Look at that. That is far up towards the northeast. Look at the cluster of the teams. Everybody jumped really, really early, so that means it's going to be some very messy rotations coming into play.
Okay, we do have the fight down in the bottom left. We will keep tabs on it, but something I want to touch on with that circle. Who's in the central point? It's going to be Germany. And guess what? Germany is a full squad, and that's where they usually go.
Oh, my God. That is going to make it so rough for so many of these teams that are going to be rotating through. We can see that it's been a little bit of an interesting start for everybody, but a lot of these teams have managed to carve out their own specific location. Looking back over at Thailand right now, we're talking about Duckmans. This guy put on a show, but Minoru is a guy we have got to keep an eye on as well. That guy is absolutely fire right now.
We'll have a quick discussion about where teams are. We can see the map, so we'll just try and break this one down further. You saw that initial contact was made. Japan, Turkey around just above Kumasira side, where the silos are. Down below them, we do see, or at least I can see on the map, Finstrike is lurking. We call them Finstrike. It's the Windstrike meme, but it's actually Finland. We'll go with that one. We'll keep going with the countries just in case you don't watch the PL, you don't know how things go down. But Finland is lurking in the distance. Picado, it has been taken over by Korea. They are plumb center. They're happy for now. Los Leones, Argentina. They've got a good old foothold inside that town. No one's really going to do much in there because that'll be locked down. But if you do want to rotate all the way down in the south, if you want to take that coastal road, you have to be very, very careful. There are two teams side by side, Matrim. We see Russia and we see China. They're causing a bit of a blockade. It looks like USA, from my angle, are actually taking the western side, so they'll avoid that. But this is the scenario that I was just speaking about.
Yeah, we got a little bit of a setup. You can see that Kimba's taking a little bit of damage back on this. China feels like they're feeling pretty aggressive about this. They have a nice angle. Godby's up to the side of it. But Summer's just got a feed right back over on Kimba, and that's going to be a easy down coming up for Summer.
He had a bullet in the side of the helmet. You could see the mark, and he finds a second one. Kemba goes down. That should be initial follow-up. 1 point moves to China. They will claim the first scalp all the way down to the south. So now Russia, I can see them just backing off. They have to be very careful, though, because as they rotate, I do see Chinese Taipei lingering in the distance. So it's provided they're careful on that route, they will pretty survive this one. But with 3 players, it's going to be difficult, because that circle is going to be a hell of a traverse upwards.
I mean, this area in general can just be kind of messy, depending on how you have to make your ways through it. Naturally, we do have Germany, we're talking about very centered up, but looks like we've got Canada on the move right next to Basel. Is he going to find the angle for it? Going to take a couple of shots, not going to connect with a lot. That's going to get a little bit of damage onto the vehicle, but it looks like Maluk is going to make it back off onto the hills. You can see Moody immediately stopped on that and is going to reposition around.
The call didn't come through quick enough. Can't have hurt the vehicle just in time, otherwise he would have moved onto that roadside. The 16, yes, it's not a full automatic AR, so you're always going to have a difficult one. It does kick like a donkey at times when you're spraying away with it, but certainly a warning comes through from Maluk. Gets away with his life. Didn't even think they were tagging it, to be honest, so happy days for now. El Pozo, you can see just on the western side, that's where USA will take their route. They'll go up to the north, maybe potentially kick it in around La Copa area and punch it in Potentially, again, somewhere around Tornio Ada. You see Cruz de Val as well. You do have that hillside that they could, which will provide them cover. Water treatment will be hot. People have to be careful of this. If you're going to make an entry point in the western side of that circle, you will have several teams. Team Great Britain, they're plumb center of that scenario, which I was speaking about. Korea just below them. Thailand's there as well, and so is Australia around the water treatment. It depends what Australia do. If they move and play border control, then they will catch these teams that are rotating more towards the northern side of the circle.
We've got Canada that's kind of encroaching back over next to where we can see Vietnam didn't make the stop over for it. Luke is up on the high ground from this, looking back down. It looks like he fed the information over. So we have Canada kind of creating a line, looking back over towards 2 members of Vietnam. The other 2 members look like they're doing a little bit of a rotation out around and might be creeping up back behind the other side of Canada.
Cautiously for now. Already been warned. More shots coming through onto Drassel. I mean, it's dangerous because you are downwind of this fight and there are only 2 men. At 50% your capacity, you are going to be taking a fight on a deficit side.
And it's right in the center, and there's going to be so many teams rotating through.
The problem is Canada have problems of their own. He's seen that. He definitely saw that the grenade was transitioned through. They're going to start to pull back. I think, Silzen's saying, okay, we don't want nothing to do with this. We'll just force ourselves back. So Canada holds its ground. They've got 2 teams there either side. And that's what they have to be careful of on the next rotation. Learn where these people are. Make sure they keep a track of them. Just don't let them wander away and hide away. Because then when you move forward off the back of this transition, you could be running into an open trap. Pew.
He's in a, looks like he realized he was in a little bit of trouble. Reels did have an angle back over for it. So Pio's just going to get back out of there. And it feels like everybody's got a really good amount of information gathering at this stage.
Oh my.
Michael takes a couple of shots. Looks like he regrets that real quick.
There was a warning shot that came through from Reels, but as you mentioned, Michael did get a warning one back. The pan potentially could have saved him. Oh, China again with a second one. This time it's on to Japan. So Japan, the team that picked up the first frag, they do lose a player. Gabba goes down at December 12th. He finds one. SLR, bullet to the brain, confirms it. Job done. 1 point to them. China at the moment, let's have a look at their position on the map. Where are they? Okay, so they're quite far, to be fair.
Yeah,
Turkey, Brazil, Russia. There are so many teams still outside the circle up against the blue.
I mean, this could be very, very messy for a couple of these guys. Brazil looked like they were opting going up towards the north. This is going to get really messy really quickly. Turkey is not taking any shots right now. I think that they're aware that they have a couple of teams around them, and it's really risky. No! Your vehicle's running off on you, man. Well, the beautiful death's just watching it roll away. Gonna run right over there next to the Brazil.
If he wasn't going to shoot at the Matrim and give away his position, at least the car will now. He's given up the game. I suppose it could be just a 9,000 IQ player, which gives him some defense. He will watch them in the distance.
See, it looks like more players, right? Whenever the vehicle's rolling down and there's a guy walking, see, it's 2 guys, not just one that's going to take those shots back over there. Sixmo switch. I love it. Oh, man, this is a real aggressive early game. I mean, no surprise coming out from China. These guys are known for very aggressive early games.
We have seen in PL, it was actually Uber, funnily enough, onto Scoom, the seat switch was just disgusting. Drive-by outside of the passenger with an AR, you love to see it. Does go for the style points, I'll give you that. Why not? A doozy. In the distance, do see the vehicle feeding all this information back.
This is in the blue.
Just about to touch on that. I'm assuming you're wondering why, and I am too. But then again, if they are fighting off the back of losing a player quite early on, you're always going to be feeling it. It does a lot to your mental stability, and you want to let players maybe go central of this circle first. This circle is prone to be the biggest hardship. Well, I say you don't really know prone to be the biggest, but if there is going to be a massive hardship, it's in this initial one. Sometimes going central can be your downfall, because once you're trying to get out the middle of the pack, if you do have to go to the edge, then you have so many teams just stacked up on a brick wall in front of you.
But the problem with it is if the circle does go center, now you have nowhere to go because everybody is just set and locked into position. You can see Finland's doing a little drive-by next to USA. This is way up to the north, but it's still back down to the south. Looks like Russia and China did finally manage to separate out a little bit. Japan's making their way into the circle as well. And there is that do up center that we were talking about. I gotta say, this is not looking too comfortable for Russia or China.
Yeah, this is the main issue now. What side of the map are you on? How do you make an entry point here? Because this will be a border protected circle. The north looking quite good, but certainly open. It's not without its own downfall. If you do come in through Thierry Bronca, which I'm already seeing Jempty scouting that out. You would expect to see Jempty does it for Face Cloud, Team Liquid. I'm thinking old times. I'm seeing him. I'm seeing him with Mexi these days, so it's just rolling back the Rolling back the years a little bit there. Either way, he is the scout. He likes to go off and do his own thing, call out opposition, and certainly a man who can when it comes to finding a team, fighting up against them. He can take his own battles and pick them if needed, but he will find a place for the rest of Finland to come down and follow. Cruz de Val still holds USA just to the left-hand side. Turkey, Japan, and China. Still Russia as well. Nowhere near the circle.
One thing I want to point out is we do see Korea playing right against the edge of the circle right now. Looks like they were potentially trying to hunt down a couple of kills, trying to get something off of rotation. But, I mean, with the way we have everything set up, everybody is trying to rotate fairly late. Usually in competitive PUBG, we see a lot of very early rotations. It feels like everybody is still just trying to get a measure of the map and figure out where everybody's going. Finally, Germany is regrouping because they've been in control of this location for quite a while, now making their way back down around El Halza.
Yeah, the regroup here for Germany will be good for the simple fact they're in a 2-1-1 split. So if anyone pulls up on these priority compounds that they're holding, they could just... You okay, Chris?
Well, you say that, but I mean, they got Finland coming up back behind them, and that's going to be a little bit dangerous. But hey, look, China finally made it out of the blue.
That's the reason they're pulling away from El Azhar, to be fair. I suppose in case it does hatch it to the side, you don't want to get locked inside that city.
Oh no, Japan.
And they do have the 2-1-1, which I suppose it gives them more options if they do want to regroup at a different location, or even just for a point of moving once the circle does shift. USA's in, as you mentioned. Turkey is in the next compound that we will see China and Japan. We could have a three-way here, Matrim. We've got one team directly in front of them. They head towards Turkey's compound. This could be dangerous. This will also give the information to Team GBR. Great Britain is on the edge of this circle where all these teams are going to make an end. They're actually gatekeeping the road. This could be some points for Great Britain should these teams be actually floodgating towards them.
The problem with it is Japan is actually in the buggy right now. I was going to say, that is just dangerous, man. Being on the back of that thing and running through two different teams, now making their way back over next to Great Britain. We see Dev trying to make a round the side of that. I think he's going to be on the other side of that rock, but I think Turkey still has an angle back for this. But you can see it's been a little bit of a shift. It's getting a little bit violent. Japan takes one loss inside that, and that's super dangerous. Turkey still looking back over towards China.
It's a rather unorthodox position to be fair. You want to expect Turkey to be in a compound, basically camping it down while the blue is on the back. So it is rather unorthodox, but it has worked, and it's picked him up a point or two, I believe. Two indeed, a beautiful death, and Ira one apiece. I suppose that's better off as well, because actually they've got some slight revenge there onto Japan, because they were the ones that got the initial frag on them and took their player away from them. Depp, the last man standing.
I mean, a little bit of vengeance, down to one guy now, and so now Depp has just got the entirety of his country's pride on his back. And you can see there's just people driving around. This is so nerve-wracking. He's gonna go for the shots back over towards Cairo, and that's just gonna draw a lot of attention. Are we gonna see them stop? Look at this, that's a lot of damage back over towards Depp, and that's gonna be it. Japan is the first team out.
It's a questionable play. I'm stunned he went for that. In a one versus any scenario, when you're on your own like that, you want to be playing for placement. Why go for them? They're all happily accept a battle. You're just going to go for the refrag. They're all close together. If you are going to go for that scenario and try and pick up one individual player, then maybe go for the last one and not the one that's going to keep coming forward, because he has support. They accept the challenge. They get out the car. And unfortunately, Japan, they are gone. 16th place, game number one. Turkey do make it in. Great Britain along the roadside. And while that was all going down the circle, it hard shifted to the west.
Couple of shots going back down next to Argentina. They're taking a little bit of damage, but I think he's going to make it back behind that. Yep, so should be perfectly comfortable there. So these are just hello bullets at this point. I don't see any downs coming out from it. But one thing to note is not inside the circle. So Brazil is actually posted up inside of it, so it has to keep an eye on it.
Matchroom, we've just seen on the map. It looks like Australia has turned up USA. We've already seen the grenades cycling through the hands of the players. The bombardment does begin. This is a compound fight. All four players up on both sides, respectively.
And I love this. We haven't had a chance to really talk about Australia, but these guys have been on a roll lately. This is a very strong team in and of itself. So USA looking back over towards Australia, it looks like everything's kind of calmed down for a second.
Look, Matt, you're from the USA side. Talk to me about these individual players. Who kind of takes point? Who's your sniper? Who's your marksman? What are you looking from these individuals?
It's really hard to say in this configuration, because we have seen Valiate and Zampa both kind of pull off these really interesting flank positions before. So with this, I wouldn't be surprised if we see, I can see Zampa coming back into the vehicle off the side of this. Looks like he was trying to go for an offsides position, but also Sharky's been known for that. So at what point, whenever you have Team USA that's known for a whole bunch of flankers, who's kind of the one guy that stays in the center? I'm venturing to say it's probably going to be Baja that's posted up over there. But look at this. We also have Finland looking back over next to China, and that could be a very interesting fight to get started up.
China caught off guard ever so slightly in a 2-2 split. There is a compound in front of them, a priority one for that, especially with this kind of circle. They could take residency in, but they have to regroup, which they are doing. Get the resources together. Uber.
Gotta be super careful.
Just pulled up here. Nade up and over. It's ticked. It's cooked. 2 are there as well, but they go too fast. Silzen with not that damage. About 40% HP. The second one falls through. They think they've gone down to the south. He's not. He's further up close and personal.
I really love that. You can tell Silzen had an idea on where these grenades were going to go. Went ahead and abandoned, started making his way up, taking a couple of shots back to the side of this, but now out inside the blue, this big damage is going to start to stack up. Russia's trying to get a couple of shots back over. You can see the grenades are prepped, but they're going to bounce very interestingly.
Matt, I'm really sorry I have to break you off. Aduzi's behind them. Aduzi is right behind them on the opposing side of the road. They've no idea. If he gets over in time, he's quite split from the rest of the pack, but if he gets here in time, he can pick up some big points.
Uba's going for the spray back over on Argentina. At least 2 of their members managed to make it away. Are we going to see this next vehicle make it through? A couple of shots going to go through, and it's going to be Brazil that actually saves Argentina, getting a couple of shots back over towards it.
That's into the graveyard. They're third party in this one. The circle's been favorable to them. It does shift more towards the southeast. Graveyard's still in. Everywhere else kind of open. Thailand, they are looking happy. Not quite center of the map, but damn near it. Uber goes down to the blue. That was a knock that came through Brazil. Argentina further afield. Russia, my pick of the tournament, is gone. 15th place for them. Rather unfortunate. Caught between a rock and a hard place. Argentina from behind, Brazil in front. Now, the circle, it condenses. Luke 12. Unfortunately, Australia's dream machine, the man, the myth, the legend, has fallen to Miraku. He's been confirmed and cleaned up. Team GBR, they're just teetering on the edge of the circle. Everyone else, unfortunately, including Australia, is getting ahead of the game in front of them.
Finland does manage to make it back through Great Britain and gets into a nice position, but they do have Australia next to them. We still have 54 people alive at this stage of the game, and you can see there's not a lot of space to work with. Finland looks like they might be in a little bit of trouble, as at least 2 different teams have angles to look back over towards them, and they have Germany back down the hillside that might look back around here, go for a couple of shots. So now, you know, at this stage of the game, when you're committing to Shack Life, you've got some problems ahead of you.
Yeah, this is not good.
Man
if another
himself,
team,
Duckman's looking back down that angle too.
My worry is that if another team get wind of this, the fact that it's a hop, skip, and a jump is Germany. One player just runs across and posts a grenade in that building there. Oh, gone Zampa. Leo finds him and instas him. That's a flush and a half. Bye-bye, Zampa. 1 point picked up. Chinese Taipei. Leo, thank you very much. Strassel and the rest of the boys are on the hillside here. Canada still standing strong. They do have a line of sight on some of these battles.
Every event, it's always North America versus North America as they post up against each other. So
Sharky's
Canada
gone.
looking back over towards USA. But we do have Chinese Taipei right around that same location. Australia is also posted up right over around similar location next to Korea and Great Britain, who is still just gatekeeping out. So really, we're at that stage of Miramar where everybody's just trying to get into these little ravines to find these little sneaky paths. And it looks like USA is in a little bit of trouble, is at least trying to get the res back over here, and Valiate off on the other side, not even in the safe zone yet.
I'll tell you who is in trouble. China, Korea, and Great Britain are looking directly at them. They need to make their way out of the compound. The blues on the back. They have to move. Keep an eye on that kill feed, because honestly, I think we'll be seeing them go down any second. I'm just seeing Tracer Fire laying down from afar. Summer, he's been caught off. December 12th, knocks himself out, jumps out the vehicle. They're all falling. Michael cleans up the kill, picks up Summer. 1 point moves towards him. 2 now for Great Britain. Pio, though, he smells blood. Korea, they want to get involved in this, because those players out in the blue, for them, unless they give it up and deny points to other... Stolen! Okay.
I was expecting that one. You could see both guys had moved back down there. Pio was looking on one angle, Michael on another. China is just locked down. Godvi is on no life, just trying to stay alive. Nope, he's not even going to get that off. Now it's just Mad 98, and this is bad. There is nowhere to go, man.
I mean, what can you do here? You don't want to run out of there, because all you're going to do is just give points to your opponents. You know there's a full wall of 2 teams there, so you just need to sit it out and hope to God one team dies before you.
Oh, but look at Pio. Is he going for a reposition? Has he given up and said, okay, we know China's going to die, and looking back now next to Great Britain, he might have a high ground angle onto it. USA finding themselves in a little bit of trouble. Look back on the hillside, already has 1 member down and out, so that's now everything on Baja's back as he's just trying to throw down a smoke, get something out of this, at least time to get some meds up, but Leo's looking back around on this angle. I mean, it's just Baja at this stage now.
K-Mine came in and just whipped that one up, so Sharky, that actually moves the point towards him. Canada, smell this one. There's blood in the water, they want more. China's gone, 14th place. Great Britain moving onwards. Turkey now to fall. Argentina, I was worried about them, but honestly, It's not a big deal. They're doing well. 6 more. He goes down as well. That's an instant confirmation of the knock from earlier on. The USA, you did just see fall. And looking for some number 13. Australia, they have made contact with Thailand. This is the main compound that's still inside this circle. Great Britain now have Korea directly behind them.
Oh, here we go. Korea making that push that we were talking about beforehand. Reel's back on one angle. Very aware of it. Throwing out the grenades. Trying to get a little bit more space. Has to be very, very cautious, especially when you're playing on these Miramar hills. When you throw out those grenades, they're going to bounce. They're going to roll back down that hillside. Great Britain seems to be aware of the situation, trying to move forward, but Onyx up at the top of it. Has an angle. It's a beautiful shot back down towards Michael. That's going to be a stall. Look at the push from Aqua 5 right up into their face. Preps out the grenade, trying to get a little bit more angle. Aqua 5 still holding this really up by himself. Pio still around the other side of that hill, trying to find the right angle for it. And I got to say, Great Britain is just trying to run to get out of the situation.
Michael was cooking the grenade. It dropped on the floor and killed him. So that point goes to Korea. There is a response. Pio goes down, but so does Vard. So trade for trade. Miraku smokes are there. The ninjas in pajamas, or at least the 2-man are with them.
Finland's pushing back around the other side. Angle from Great Britain. There is nowhere for Great Britain to go. Look, Samty is looking back on this angle, realizes he is in a lot of trouble, but Korea is still just leapfrogging with their cars down around the side of this. It's just a fight for dominance of this edge of the circle. Reels, what do you got? Do you have the angle back up to it? Samty does go down.
Miraku finds the shot, finds the face, job done. Nades, up and over we go. How much more damage? Tixu forced to disengage from this one. They've overextended. Korea's now seen them. They're directly in front of them. Reels finds Samty. That's the confirmation. The grenade's there. Tixu off angle, AKM. Up close and personal. Should they step forward? They'll have to deal with this. Tixu, if he finds a grenade, the information's there. It could take some health off them. No, it doesn't. But it does give the info there lingering on the other side. Reels lowballs the grenade. That answers back, but the grenade damage is real. Miraku's down. I really would expect them to push this advantage.
But Australia's off on the other side of Korea, so here come the grenades out on one side of this. You can see Australia's trying to move around through it. Aqua 5 does go down. Alex is still just trying to hold this angle. Finland's still just trying to dismantle Great Britain. It is just a cluster of teams off to the side of this. Insight's just making his push around the outside. Is Eonix the last person up at this point? Yes, he is. He's going for the sprays back over towards Australia. Can he do it? Trying to get him down, somehow survives.
Onyx does survive. 12th position will be Australia's grade for now. Great Britain still going toe-to-toe. Korea going strong. Onyx, last man standing. How many more can he take? He keeps going and going. Death after death, finally. Somebody puts him in the grave. So many teams have gone down during that transition. South Korea, that's 11th place for them. UK also 4. They just got ahead of the game with 10th. We're down to 9. No, we're not. We're down to 7. How did I even miss this? So many people died in that one single engagement.
There is just nowhere to go inside of this complex. Germany has just been comfortably sitting out inside the center of the circle, but it has been a bloodbath as teams have just been stacking across, just trying to make it into the safe zone. You can see Finland finally gets back up their reses. Should have a chance to get a little bit of meds off, but you can see third parties are the factor right now. Everybody seems to have a sight line on at least one other team.
Okay, let's calm things down for a second.
Right.
That was a bit of a wild roller coaster, and there was just attention from all angles of this map. Thailand yet to do anything. They've been quite quiet, but they have to move from the safety of that position they've been in all this time. They have to be careful because Gemty does have an eye line on them. So all 3 players from Finland are now focused towards them. Germany has the only last standing compound in this circle. They've been plumb center the entire time, and now they're making the aggressive push. I can see Canada. They're knocking at the door. They're just lingering downwind of them. Germany actually got it. Okay, so Mexico did push out. Duckmans does find contact initially with the guys on the side of Finland. Remember, they're outnumbered 4-3 here.
These shots are insane from Duckmans. He is just tearing apart Finland right now. Gets one of them down. Already gets a lot of damage. Gonna go ahead and fall, but get a second one. And look at that! Duckmans destroys Finland.
He just battered them all!
What is with these solo plays inside this game already? This is just the first game, Rich.
The kid's a freak.
Look at this. All right,
you can't do that to Finland.
I picked Finland to win this, and he just tore them apart. All right, so we got Taipei in a nice position. Germany as well. You can see Brazil got their smokes down, trying to get a little bit more space. Canada still alive, very, very quiet, but it's a bloodbath off to the side. The Blues coming in, Brazil. I don't think you got time to go for those reses.
So Germany do have a really good position, but the problem is that they have literally teams on every single angle. A full 360-degree angle. You can't peek out the window. We're always seeing individuals actually falling because of that. Brazil falling at the wayside. Vietnam will have eyes on them. Thailand's lingering on the other side as well. Minuro time in to strike, instantly cleans up that one. Gives another point towards, and that's 5. The last stand for Andy. What can he do, though? Okay, so Thailand, again, now they've had the safety of that building removed from them. Is a difficult stance. Yes, Duckmans is there. He can respond. He can go front. Maybe give some body block here, but it looks to me like Canada's actually getting boxed in.
They're in a little bit of trouble. Grenades are coming through. Lots of damage out. They just got a res off, but you can see somehow Maluk is weathering all of these grenades drop next to him. 4 members of Vietnam are trying to push back over onto this, but a nice push coming out from Canada is going to reveal Maluk, though. He does get one down, but it's all onto Moody now as K-Mine is down as well. This grenade could spell the end of Canada, depending on how it bounces. Moody's going to step up around it, has the angle for it, but Levis is just going to push right up into Moody's face. They know he might be going for the res, trying to deny it. That grenade is going to finish it off, and there we go. Vietnam takes down Canada.
Bye, boys. If the grenade didn't do it, it was the aggressive push that would. Moving up there is perfect time to strike in PUBG. Get your enemy wounded, let them put the smokes up, and then press. Because below the smokes, your footsteps are hidden. It's not just a smoke screen to your eyes, but the noise also disengages the ears, so you can make a push like that, and it does work for now.
Chinese Taipei has an angle back over towards Thailand, taking a couple of shots. You can see the smokes are out, but Germany's also participating inside this. Brexco going to go ahead and take away one of these. That's going to be a steal going over towards them. Germany has been in a really interesting position. Sure, they get the circles, but they haven't had a chance to get a ton of kills as of yet because nobody's really pushed into their position, so that's why they're on the hunt right now. Chinese Taipei is trying to push off to one side. Meanwhile, Thailand also pushing back around over this while we've got Vietnam and Andy, the last guy alive for his squad, just kind of looking at everything, praying no one looks his direction.
So Germany have to pick their fights here. They're very sparse and very separated. Duckmans, again, just adds another body to the tally. Brazil, 5th position, will come through. Sapu finds Duckman, so at least they take out the Hunter, the Terminator for now. Put a bit of a stopgap on that one. Chinese Taipei, they'll get themselves back together. Rally the troops, get the health, get yourself back on your feet and prepare to move because they all have to come down this hill. It's going to be a bloodbath. Anywhere you go, teams are just lingering on the side of this one. It's kind of a bit of a bowl ditch compared to where this compound is. You have to go up, essentially up and over. 4th position, but a valiant effort. Plenty of kills in the bag will give them some decent points. Germany, though, they are standing strong.
Germany is in a great position right now, but look at Vietnam sitting on 8 kills right now. Got a nice angle to make a poach. Look at Nizam. He's kind of pushed around the other side of this. Everybody knows that they're going to probably have to push around where Germany's at. It depends on how these angles come into play. If we see Chinese Taipei, they are going to have to push over next to Germany. Vietnam does not have to go anywhere, nor does Germany. So all the pressure over on this is going to be hard.
The only way they lose this is if they pick too many battles. If they decide to engage one team and they get hit from a third-party angle that they've not smoked up or made themselves
they still have so much
invisible from.
Like, look at the amount of grenades and smokes. They've
not really been in any fights, so their gear's going to... I think they've had 1 knock so far. Their gear's going to be good. Their helmets, their chests, they'll still have any smokes, their meds. I mean, for Vietnam, you can already see them. They're just looting body boxes, picking up, claiming what they killed. Happy days for them.
My big thing is I'm keeping an eye on Nizam. His reposition could be absolutely huge depending on how we see Germany have to move through this. It's starting to tell that it feels like Germany feels very comfortable in their position with this new circle setup. They know that they're going to be right on the edge of it, so he could be a very influencing factor in this as Germany might try to regroup. He can find that right angle, but it's Vietnam just going back and forth right now, just taking some shots. SR's already down. Vietnam's just spraying back down towards Milk. That's another one down for him. They know they have the numbers, but they have to be cautious. As Germany's looking up onto him, that's going to push them right up into 9 kills, about to be 10. Leo knows he's in a little bit of trouble. Germany can't really participate in this fight just due to angles.
And to be honest, I don't think they really want to, because if they go out as an individual, they might lose a single player. So for them, they can watch this. If they can steal a kill or two, then yeah, great, why not? They've got the level 2 eye line of the buildings. They could, 10 kills?
These guys are just stacking these up. Such great shots back over on this angle. Basil's looking off over towards it. You can see Nizam's got himself 4. Hasn't even been involved inside this fight. Remember, this is just 3 members. Finally, Nizam, with a little bit of an angle. I thought he was going to go for a shot back over towards this, but now it's just Leo hanging out next to that rock.
I'm just seeing Chris casually with an AUG, so he's clearly geared up.
I mean,
the big man's going to be covered in level 3 armor.
Germany's just been chilling for so long now, but the problem comes into play. How much information have they been able to gather inside of this little divot that they're in? They keep hearing these firefights, but they don't have the best sight lines on what's going on around them.
It's Nizam that's the problem.
Exactly.
If he's stayed there the entire time, they won't have a read on him. If he strikes and just forces the dagger at the right time, then Oh, here we go. Okay, that's damaging.
Oh, but he gets spotted out by Kate. So there we go. That's going to buy a little bit more space for him. Germany got their 4 kills, looking back over towards Vietnam, trying to find the right angle for it. But again, we're in Circle 9. Everything's going to condense down to the center, and that's exactly what Germany owns right now.
Keep pressing the advantage. Grenades go up. Got to be careful. They don't overextend. That's a lot of damage. Sapu does have a grenade. Smokes are there. He will go for them. That's why you'd expect to see a team lingering. It does roll down. He's weak. Chris gets it. The big man goes down. That takes away the level 3 gear. Now they're splitting them at the waist side. How much more damage they can do? Spins on the pinhead. They've split. They split Germany. They've completely thrown this. What's going on?
Germany, what happened? You had that in the back. BenzQ's still alive, but look, we have so many members from Vietnam. Do they have the angle for it? Looks like Levi's is trying to push up onto this. Is he gonna find the angle before the res comes out? BenzQ has to step away from it, realizes it's too dangerous. Basil's looking back down on this hillside. BenzQ just trying to hold out for it. Grenade's gonna go up a little bit too far. Not finding the angle for it, but there we go. Is that gonna be it? Vietnam walking away with the first game. I would not have expected that.
16 kills. 26 points to open up day 1. The play from Inez was just tremendous. And again, that's another one, as James was saying, where the stats actually don't lie. You can look at these individual players, and it's just the telling story. They're the fraggers of the region. They are the powerhouses, but match number 2 is now live. Not too dissimilar playing path from previous, but we start on the east this time and we head over to the west, ending above Val de Mar. We'll see if the drops do change up. We'll follow the playing path through. And this time, I think it would be fair to say you have to look towards that Turkey and Japan fight to see if it does kick off once again.
I mean, it just looks like somebody put down a reverse Uno card from the last game. It's just the exact opposite path coming across through here.
Instantly, just forces it back one.
But we are seeing China jump out much earlier this time. Remember, we saw them back down towards the south earlier. Yep. So it looks like they're making the push back around San Martin, at least Hacienda, north of that somewhere. Germany, a little bit of a modification as well. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see this mix up a little bit back and forth. Do you think that we're going to see set drop locations in this event, or do you think it's going to be a lot of modifications off the plane path?
So from individual teams, you'll see it in MPL, we see it in PL, other regions also. Sometimes you have a backup drop. When the plane isn't favorable to you, you will go somewhere else. For this scenario, I think it's just you have to have, and I've always said this, the best players in PUBG, not just for this league and this tournament, but the best players in PUBG, God, could you ask to land on a better weapon? I wish that happened, just goes through the window and there's a scar, thank you very much. The best players are the ones who adapt on their feet. You can't just rely on, fair gentleman's game, I go here, you go there, I need this amount of loot before it's whoever adapts to the
Okay,
Well, I'm going to stop for a second because if this circle hard shifts down south,
give it to me.
We're going prison.
This is straight up NPL circle. This is my home territory, Rich. This is what I know.
The closest I have ever had, and I believe it was me and D-Man, the closest I have had is Los Higos. I've never had a prison or Minas de Sol finish.
I mean, we probably won't get one, but in my heart of hearts, like, you're like me. You just really love the evil circles, don't you?
I do.
We just became best friends now.
To be honest, this could potentially be quite an evil circle. One, because you already have 7 teams that are stationed within this. 2, you instantly, with the water and with that western cliff face, you say, okay, well, there's no point of entry there. So you're taking away, essentially, a good, 180 degrees of that map. You take away 50%. Well, no, sorry, excuse me. There's 25% left of that circle to make an entry point in.
Wait, look at this. Okay, so Russia has forever to go. These guys are around Terra Branca. Looks like they're making a push up to Campo Militar. This is just we know we're going to be in the blue. That circle is forever away from us, so let's just get whatever we want and make the push down whenever. I wouldn't be surprised if they actually push all the way back over towards the west before going back down south.
Yeah, they're going to be aware that Germany will be lingering in the distance, I suppose. This is more like a PEL contenders Russian team player, to be fair, going up to Militar, but nevertheless, it will be the furthest away from the circle, and they have a hell of a lot of job to get here.
Look at that leaderboard. 26 points. Second place is Germany back in 10th.
Just
huge.
In, topography kind of feels. The harder part for this one is if teams decide to set up on that darker area of the map, the hillsides with all the ferns on, like the darker sand area. There's some really nasty plateaus there which you can just set up, perch upon, and basically just murder and rain down hell from above. And traversing those cliffs when teams are on top of them you're just unfortunately asking to die because the cars are so slow going up. If you get an eye line on 1 or 2 players, they're just gone.
The big factor also comes into be how hard it is to go east to west and west to east. So if we see hard shifts onto either side of that, really just due to how the terrain plays, the pathing for the roads kind of carves this north-south dichotomy that's in that part of the map. If you have to cross back over towards the west, it is so hilly. You're going down cliffs or hitting those plateaus that you were talking about, and then just have to drop back down off of it. But I mean, much quieter early game this time around, but a lot of teams already on the move. You can see we've got Thailand making a pass over next to Finland, but naturally Jimty's not going to take any shots back over towards this. I think that everybody is aware that this circle is going to be pretty rough, so early rotations coming in much bigger, except for, again, Russia, who's still up around Campo Militar.
Yeah, that'll be a long one. You'd have to give them the saving grace and say no one's going to really camp the edge, and they should be able to take that entire eastern coastal road straight down and maybe just kick it through Puerto Porrezo, just go below Los Leones, somewhere there. But the amount of times you see a team either dying on arrival or at least dying in next rotation because it's such an awful place to maneuver from and rotate from. Several teams will probably just go below Picado, stay in the north and hope that the circle comes up their way. If it does go down south, I have no idea what's going to happen, and honestly, it's just going to be a wild, wacky game. Teams setting up and being prepared for that. If you move close to Valdemar, you will get the bridge access to the island should you have to do it, and then you can basically just play spoiler to everyone else who wants to come across. The more interesting point for me is where the Finns are going to be setting up.
Exactly, that's what I was going to say. They're set up in a nice spot for it. Already trying to get a little bit of high ground. Looks like Vietnam's already looking back towards Canada, taking a couple of shots back towards them. Going for at least a couple of points to get this started, but Canada wants to have nothing to do with this. Going to continue up that hillside, and the modification coming out from Moody is also going to get them away. But again, you can see, we talked about momentum coming into games. Look at that. These guys are out for blood already. They know they're at the top of the leaderboard, and they know they have space to play. They can just go ahead and go as aggro as they want early, but Tixu looking back down over towards Argentina. I love this. This is just a trap waiting to go off. The shots come out, but they actually go a little bit wide. Not going to connect, but oh, the retaliation comes through. Tixu, you're going to regret that one.
Okay. From absolutely nowhere, Anesta just peppers in Zemty!
No! The car's still going! Watch out! This is not the way you want it to end. Finland, what the hell is going on with you guys right now?
Oh God, somewhere in my mind I just saw an image of Scoom's face flash and I panicked. What?
Oh,
Germany!
they're going for it!
What's happened to Germany?
Argentina's actually coming up on us. They're throwing grenades into Finland in this down position.
The vehicle's next to it. The vehicle.
Oh my Lord. This is so great, and this is vengeance. Remember, they started this. They took the shots at him. If that car rolls back down over onto him, they're still following back onto this. Finland's just trying to get out of this situation. They've already lost so much and got nothing for it.
Zemty's dead. Tixu will be on the cleanup. You can expect Robox just to see him downwind. Help me, please. Somebody, please help me. Put me out of my misery. Bye. 2 points move to Argentina. Finland are punished. Kane is forced to... Yeah.
That's what got your Germany boys right there.
Yeah, Kane's on the pull-up. He's like, okay, don't worry, lads. I got this. It's fine. You've made a mess, but we can put it back together. I have the tape. I have the bandages. Let's fix this and move on. Nothing happened. Don't worry about the blue.
But now, see, now they've got the worst villain of the game, the blue coming after them. That was caused by the second biggest villain in the game, the motorcycle. Well, at least it's not the three-seater motorcycle.
You took the words right out of my mouth. Thank the Lord there's no three-seater, because that would be probably the top fragger in not only this competition, but across of all the leagues entirely. Circle getting very, very condensed. All these players just being preemptive of where they set up. USA is the deepest so far, the closest to Valdemar, keeping an eye on that bridge and an emergency exit plan should the circle go down toward the south. China and Russia once again slow to the circle. All the way up on the northern side will be making their entry point around Monte Nuevo. Chinese Taipei, Western Road, just behind USA, but they're outside the circle, where USA is further afield down on the end of it. Australia, Korea, once again clashing heads. Not actually making contact, but still very, very close. Argentina had just been trailed ever so slowly by Canada.
Kind of interesting that we're seeing Russia and Canada on a complete inverted map from last time.
Yes.
Still out in the blue, close to each other. It seems like they have very similar rotation patterns that could be something we need to keep an eye on through the rest of this, as we might see these guys skirmish Circle 1, Circle 2 fairly regularly. Meanwhile, Great Britain's just making their way back over towards their hilltop. Going to get themselves a nice little viewpoint from here. I love the sight lines in this position, especially once you start making your way up next to that church, getting those high ground spots. You can just see for days. The problem with it is, it's not necessarily as centered as everything is, so these guys are kind of praying for an eastern shift.
Don't know what will happen yet. Anything could. These guys from Germany are still in the blue, just so you guys are aware. The last two teams that are in the blue are actually Germany and Russia. Russia's all the way further afield in the north, just to the left-hand side of San Martin. China, not quite in the blue, but certainly playing edge for now. Circle about to condense. Where's she going to go? Is this going to get, please, hard shift south. Just do it for the meters.
Do it. Bring it to us. Oh,
we avoid it.
Centered up.
Okay, we avoid it, but the difficulty is, Matrim, there is a hell of a lot of teams that are already set up in that circle. The ones Canada, on the outside now.
Canada and Vietnam are the two that are going to have the hardest part. Like, we see these guys that are still coming in from the blue, like Russia and them. The north is fine. Canada and Vietnam, this is going to be rough for them to push into circle.
Vietnam's turning face and actually having none of it. I can see them just disengaging completely from the path that they were on, so maybe they have the information.
Not again, Finland. Not like this.
The last two Finns standing in the vehicle, the tires, the smoke, the bullets. Korea's in front of them as well.
Korea's just on the other side. Are they going to be able to get away from it? No! It's going to be Pio that takes them down, and Finland down and out so early. There's only been 4 deaths, and all of them were Finland. I guess I'm just cursed. Is it anytime I predict someone to win?
No, I think it's because Finland begins with F, and that's what the chat should be spamming right now. They had a 12th place finish in the previous round, and only picked up 1 kill, and now they got nothing. That is just a travesty. All 4 players dead. Finland out, round number 2.
Well, this is I would say, a very interesting situation we're going to need to keep an eye on. We've already seen what can happen with Thailand and Korea whenever they decide that they want to start killing some stuff. And they've already positioned right next to each other. So we might have to see these guys rotate towards... we'll have to see how it goes through, but it could be spicy.
Really sorry to cut you off. Look at this of an interesting player on screen right now.
Vietnam?
So Vietnam disengaging, taking the bridge. This is dangerous, though. They might get lucky because USA isn't actually on the bridge itself. They're further and deeper inside Valdemar. So they could get a free entry point here.
Oh my God, is this going to happen again? Always North America early game shooting at each other. So USA's got the low ground, taking a couple of shots back over towards Moody. A little bit of damage comes through. Ballet does manage to take down Maluk off of this. So you can see now Canada's just trying to survive along this hill. Not a lot of space to work with. K-Mine finally hits a couple of shots, forces Baja back down that hillside, but a little bit dangerous as, it's going to be third parties. Japan looking back down the other side of Canada.
Level 1 helmet on C's here. Needs to be very careful. One bullet comes his way, he's going to be in all kinds of trouble. Smokes and utilities being committed. Moody's
rough. That's a
cut
bad
off from the rest
right
of the pack, unfortunately. He's not out, but certainly in trouble for now. They'll need to... Drassel gets hit in the face with a grenade, and here comes the bombardment. Up and over we go. Japan just laying down the fire. It clips the wall, you lucky boys. But bleeding at the wayside. There's only one of them standing, I think, Matrim.
And it's Moody, the guy that we thought was in the worst spot ever right now, somehow surviving through this, just hanging out on this little bit of a dip. USA can't move forward because Japan's in the position, and Japan really can't come back down. So really, Moody's just stuck here. There's so many bullets going around him, there's nothing that he can do. Unfortunately, the rest of his team is just going to get flushed out here. As you can see, Japan's on the hunt for that last guy. Has no idea what's going on with it.
I like how they're being cautious, at least. They're not just running in.
Looking around
Full
for
arms up, and he's hiding behind the vehicle. I don't think he spotted him over the wall. They'll go for the bleed out. Grenades in the building. Shoot. Oh, it's a flash. Excuse me. Okay.
I think that they're expecting a res to be going off right now, so just going to go ahead and pick those up. Easy peasy kills coming through, but you can see new circle popped. It's actually going to be USA and Vietnam having to make their way up towards the north. It looks like China is looking back over towards Russia, taking a couple of shots. Russia's going to have to be very cautious on this approach. That's going to be one down, and it's Uba already just instantly flushed.
Completely destroyed instantly. Pick up the point.
So
Russia finally do
point man on that.
They'll regroup themselves, but now Australia do have an eye line on this one, so Aduzi has to be careful. The stims are on, but it's not enough. Reposition the vehicle and hide the tires. That's fine. They're inside the circle, but it's not deep. It's expect to be moving further, and that's probably what they want to do. Take the next compound and give them a bit more of an obstacle to jumpstart them. should they have to rotate on the next round. Australia are in front of them, 2-2 split across. So this is actually 3 teams if you want to class all these compounds as La Driller. They are split amongst it. China up against it should the circle be rather unfavourable to them. They need a hard shift in which they're able to stay in there. But as we saw in the previous round with Germany, staying in a compound, not being aggressive, it doesn't always play best.
Look, we do have Levi's way up there trying to get a little bit better of a sight line, but that's going to put a lot of distance back over for this. It's going to be some hard shots to hit.
I have noticed, Matrim, China's actually going solo. They're keeping 2 back in 2 different compounds, but Summer and Godby are splitting. They've got themselves a foothold in here.
Well, we have Vietnam. Looks like they've decided that they want no part of what's going on. And again, I like this. There is no purpose in having that fight with USA. It's not even in the safe zone, so there's no reason to control that territory. Just reposition, move in ahead of USA, and gatekeep them out. Makes it very difficult for now. USA has to figure out how they're going to make that approach. And now USA is forced to look back up next to Japan. Germany's already making their way over in a circle. Looks like they're going to post up right over here next to Argentina. But oh, Moody still somehow alive, clinging to life as he's just narrowly going to make it back up there, but I think that Depp saw it.
This is rather unfortunate. He's basically landed in the place where the corpses of his fellow players are still warm from Japan,
It's
cleaning
just
them up on a
free meds, though,
previous.
right?
I suppose so. If he can get something off the back of it because he needs to. Hell.
At this point, Moody is praying that USA engages Japan just so, like, please give me some cover. And oh, look at this flank around. They have one member from Japan. It's off to the side of this. Moody's going to take a lot of damage, and there we go. Canada is out from a nice reposition from Japan.
Japan hold point. Communication between 2 players holding 2 different angles. They were looking for that final one to capitalize and knock a team out and jump up a placement. Pomade does spot out Germany, knows they're an arrival, so all of Argentina will be on red alert. The Germans are at the door in Kumasera, and they're further afield so they can gatekeep them if necessary. All the way down south, it's a bit of a triple threat. Japan, USA, Turkey. Vietnam also, if you want to throw them in the mix, they're across the road.
Sixmo is actually looking back towards that crate right now next to Japan, so we'll have to see how that goes. Oh, Chris! Nice shot back over towards Pomade. This is what he is known for. Follows through, just downs and flushes it. Germany's starting to feel a little bit aggressive here. They know now Argentina's over next to him. Look at this reposition come out from BenzQ. No fear, just jumps right over to this hillside. And looking back on the open side of this warehouse, I love that play.
They've been given a bit of a kick up the ass in the previous round. That being passive is not the play of the game. BenzQ down to 9 HP, forced out. Silzen, grenade in hand, he cycled it. He wants to finish this one off and capitalize. Needs to be careful that he doesn't overextend outside of the building because Chris is lurking with that K9.
We often talk about the fact that PUBG is about trying to make sure everybody has to play around your strategy. We're starting to see these really aggressive teams that just have absolute faith in their aim, just being aggressive, and it is paying off as Silzen goes down. You can see the other members are trying to capitalize, but it's going to be Great Britain's Miraku that gets that down on BenzQ. So now Argentina has a little bit of a gap to work with, but has to be very cautious. Just 2 members up right now.
It's not often you see someone just pull up the vehicle on the back of the building from a very small area, but I suppose if it keeps you safe, then fair play, whatever works, lads.
Well, I think that was Argentina being very aware of the kill feed. They saw who got downed off of this, so they knew that they had the opportunity. So Great Britain really just giving Argentina a perfect reposition spot. But Kate doesn't care. Looking back over towards Earns, they've got to be super cautious, as now Australia is joining in the party, hitting a couple of shots back over this direction as well towards Germany.
The Aussies give him a tickle.
Oh, Turkey. Look at Turkey. They're starting to encroach over next to Argentina. They're wanting to third party this. They've snuck in. A Beautiful Death is looking back over towards Earns. This is going to be bad. He's just going to run right up into him. Argentina has nowhere to go. There's just 1 member up and alive for him right now.
Has to go for the reload, which is rather unfortunate. Otherwise, he might have gone for the spray down to the second player. Blue is encroaching on the back. He's not in a good position. The heel is off, and that's lucky. Up against it now, Sixmo and Co. They will look to capitalize and finish off this final player. Maybe pick up
but he's
a
behind
point
him
and
now.
a place. He is. But it all depends. You have to give the go sign for this. And this is what happened before with Turkey. They capitalized. They had the information. It was fed back. The damage is done. Levi's, Basil, they're all dying. Someone's cleaning them up. Oh my God. So the vehicle must have been flipped on the way down. China's just taking out 2 of Vietnam.
That is absolutely huge. You can see Vietnam is having to just run from this now. They still have another 2 on a motorcycle. This is just the most dangerous strategy you can choose to do on this part of Miramar. It's just waiting to flip a bike. So they do manage to at least get to safety off of this, but it looks like Russia is trying to get involved, as now Korea is taking some pot shots back over towards Japan, who couldn't make it down that hillside. We also have Turkey around the same. What is going on in these games?
Godby did go down to a grenade. He's still down, but not out. A teammate is pulling up to help him. That's maybe getting a little bit too overzealous and just tickling Russia a little bit too close. You have to be aware if you poke the back here, you're going to get the claws. Oh, Russia may have had a bit of a rough round in the previous one with a 15th place placement, but they have certainly no pushover. Michael still applying the pressure. Sees he's down, he's dead. They pick up a point. Japan's eliminated, so several different teams have actually gone to town on them. Now all of a sudden, Chinese Taipei. Duckman's instantly the Terminator himself. He's dead instantly. Flush, a beautiful death finished off by Udemea Fire.
Now it's still Argentina just hanging out inside the blue. They hear all of what's happening in front of them. Knows the fact that this is going to be ridiculously dangerous. And in the least stealthy vehicle in the world, trying to push by all of these teams, sees the new circle pop, hits the rock, but has to be cautious. Gonna go ahead and met up through that, so he should be fine. But Germany's looking back over towards Turkey. I have to be very, very careful as we move now. You can see the circles popped up. Germany just getting some circle love right now.
They are, but it's not going to be without fight. Because how many teams have to come their way? They're in a good position. They hold a really good plateau, which will deny line of vision from below. But certainly a lot of people that want to make a pressure play to them or just a push with a vehicle will have to deal with them and move on board. Shippy, bullets do come back. Zampa gets responded on. Thailand, they answer the call. Valiant and Zampa simultaneously just melted as they approach the garage.
And you can see Sharky, Baha are trying to push back down into it, but they don't have the cleanest path anymore, as all of these people that are across this hillside are just raining down damage as they go. If you're in the valleys right now, your life is absolutely miserable. There are just people stacked up in these high ground spots, raining bullets upon your head.
For 5. Paint knocks him, have to get back on his feet. Thailand, wow, okay. Sharky and Baha turn up. It looks like, I wonder if they tried to get in the vehicle and they just murdered them.
Well, at this point, I think, and it's going to be another vehicle flip.
F.
Look at it this way. At least now nobody has killed them, right? They are the masters of their own destiny, right? Nobody else can kill us except for us.
Let's not give any teams any points. We'll just let the blue do the job. Oh dear. Sees Korea on the move. USA is up in the backlines as well. You can see Ionic. With the okay, the smokes are there, so he's at least helping his teammates out. Michael spots him, and that's a big scalp to take. If you can take down one of the top fraggers, Sharky, unfortunately for him in the kill feed, Loki spots him out. That's a marksman onto another marksman. Gives him a taste of his own medicine. Sixmo actually steals the kill away from Great Britain. Turkey pick up a point off the back of Korea.
So now it's getting very bloody back down towards the south. Korea's trying to gatekeep out everything. Korea eliminates the United States in just a beautiful spray. This is Korea, again, caught up in a fight with 3 different teams around them, and we can see they're perfectly comfortable in this position as Chris tries to line up another shot, goes a little bit wide, and you have got to be so cautious at this stage. Every single time you pull that trigger, it just draws so much attention your direction. Germany realizes they're starting to make their push up and around, but just look at the teams in close proximity around them. That mini-map is stacked full of teams.
You're seen on SR as well. Holding an M24 on that roster, there was 2 sniper rifles, so if Germany want to try and tackle them head on, the range will be in their favor. They can answer back should Chris find a tag. Brazil, been a little bit quiet this game. They are lingering on the edge. Chinese Taipei just below them in the south, China up on the north. Summer and Mad 98 will have a difficult time. Russia, Australia, Germany, they control the circle. China could go to the north. They could take the hillside. There is a broken compound, but it will be exposed to the grenades from Russia. Brazil, Chinese Taipei, they're the ones that need to make the move here. The fight will engage between them. Once this is all said and done, though, Matrim, Russia's lingering in the distance.
So now you can see a little bit of a spray back down. The Roki's already down. It's going to be Andy going down as well. Milk takes a ton of damage, but it's the high ground. Everybody's just dancing around the top of it. Grenades are starting to rain down, but bouncing a little bit wide. Just 2 members from Brazil are up right now. They're just rolling those grenades right up over the smoke. Here's the footsteps. Rusty Zero's trying to go for the shots. Gets a lot of damage off, but it is just RDNX trying to go for the res. Does manage to get it, but they're just bouncing through smoke. Has to be so cautious. How did that grenade not get them down? RDNX goes down. Now it's just Andy who is just rezzed up. Smokes go away, and there we go. Brazil is just down and out.
That's an absolute sweep. They went uphill and just basically curved around Brazil. Manages to take them out, but eyes on the prize. China has heard all these shots kicking off. Korea, they're pushing. Germany over on the opposing side of the hill. He finds Chris. The marksman's gone. We were speaking earlier about the grenades from Russia. You have to be careful. A doozy sent one up and over. That's 3 players he's just taken down with 1 nade.
This is absolutely huge right now. Korea's trying to make their way up the hillside. There are, what, 6 teams within about 200 meters of this location. Aqua 5 is just trying to make his way up the hillside. Theo's just raining down damage under Uter My Fire, trying to creep his way down the side of this. Look at this, SR is also in a ton of trouble. We've got just so many teams stacking up around these angles. There is just nowhere to go as Korea is just murdering people across this hillside.
Tag team in players. Germany down 8th position, top 7 alive. PO still continues the push. Mad 98 onto Leo. China, they made the push. Russia's on the opposing side. Grenades, they should be in their hand. They haven't had too many fights just yet. If a doozy can hit an absolute worlder of a banger here. He did in the previous one. Don't know how many kills he actually managed to pick up from it. Killing spree comes in, 10 kills for Korea. The next challenge in Great Britain has arrived.
Here is the problem. Korea is just fighting everyone around them. So much confidence coming out there. Already up to 10 kills. Now that they've cleared out around them and they're starting to go for that hillside, which will allow them to look back down towards what's going on with Russia. Summer, though, I love this play. He's moving right along this wall. A doozy hears it. The spray comes out from Summer and gets him down first, though. Retaliation comes right out from a doozy. Now, what is Mad gonna do? He is right in the smokes, just spraying where he hears footsteps. A doozy is the last member up. The spray comes up, and there we go. China manages to take down Russia.
Summer. And Mad 98 single-handedly shattering the dreams of Russia. They do take the compound and continue the push. PO, up and over we go with the grenade, Reels and Miraku. They find the full frontal effect, and the bombs, they just keep on rolling. PO wants to continue the bombardment. There's 3 kills here, 3 points, and a placement as well. Job done. This could be GBR dead if they find the final player.
It's just Vard off on the back side of this, but it looks like Australia spotted him out, and there you go. Australia and Korea working together, but now Australia is taking some shots up towards Korea. You gotta be cautious with that. PO takes a lot of damage. Aquaman 5 still playing around the outside of this. You can see both teams just vying, trying to get right on the edge of the circle, but China, after that last fight, they've got the position, and they're starting to push out onto it. Mad, looking back on the other side of Loki, has to be cautious with that push from Korea. Now they have to be very, very, very careful around Australia.
Korea's basically been funneled by the blue. It's just walking. Yeah. They're walking up against it on the road. There's nothing they can do. They do have a bit of a shielding from it, but every single team that's still alive in the form of China and Australia is just encroaching on their position. They're funneled to this row side, and unfortunately, I think waiting at the top of it will be imminent death. Godv and December 12th, they are waiting. They are ready. Mad 98 is separated from the rest of the roster. If he's given the go sign, he will jump, he will pounce, and Korea could be in for it here. Yeah,
Korea is right in between both of these teams and has to be so cautious. Got to be starting to get a little bit more aggressive. Feels like Mad is kind of their scout up towards the top. As you can see, Loki wants to make his way back around there. Australia is just very comfortable being right along the edge.
China's disengaged. China's actually pulled back from this. Okay, it's cautious.
I think it's just information gathering. That's all Mad's trying to do. That's the high ground point looking back through this.
I suppose they know that Korea has to come over the hillside, right? It's Pika's advantage for them.
Well, PO looks like he's contemplating it with a couple of shots. I think that they spotted out Mad, so they're playing around the other side of the hill. Australia looks like they're wanting to push back over towards Aqua as well. So it's a 2-man squad from Korea pushing Mad right out of this location. It's just going to be narrow misses with sight lines as these hills are just buying a little bit of space and a little bit more time. Aqua does manage to make it back over here, so everybody's starting to regroup, starting to calm down a little bit, trying to get a little bit more information, but it's been so quiet for so long now.
The Aussies have arrived, and that grenade gives up the game. They had the secrecy, but now the info's theirs, and both Korea and Australia, they have to fight this one out across the road. Vasil. You can see Vasily comes out with the nades. They're cycling. They're starting the assault. They'll move forward to this one. I'm okay with that. Move to the circle and maybe gatekeep them. The problem is Mad 98 is a solo player that could cause damage to all of these teams.
Aqua takes a ton of damage. The grenade lands right in front of him. He does go down. They do have a little bit of a shack to play with, but Korea doesn't have a retaliation point from that. They're just going to play along the side of this, throw out a couple of grenades, but Mad's starting to get a little bit more aggressive. Looks like December might be also making a push over there. Really, it's just Godv that's just kind of the anchor point right now towards the center of the circle.
Oh my god. Loki and PO
to the push.
Do they get away with this?
I think that they managed to sneak around Mad. So Mad's not even following this angle, but it's actually going to be December that spots him out. Shots are going to go through. Look at that. Just a tree to hide behind. Pio's trying to get some work out, but he's on the blue. Does manage to get a little bit out of this, but he's just going to go down from that. Now it is China and Australia. And I got to say, Australia's got a lot alive, but they just lost one going down inside of this. Luke going to that high ground position. Again, that could be a deciding factor.
Look, Godv, he may be a god, but he's now in play with 4 wild Aussies. They are on a main stage. They have been having some fantastic tournaments when you see them playing at the Classics. Atletico, they stunned everybody back at GLL. Insight, back at Face It, they shocked a lot of players. They made it to the grand final stage and they turned up. The Aussies, they're here to play. And I'm sorry, but a 4 versus 1, no matter who you are, this is one hell of a difficult scenario. December 12th is there, but he is bleeding out. Whether or not Godv can bring this back to a 50% deficit is a different question.
He's kind of close to the center of the circle right now, so if he can deny how Australia wants to move, you can see that they're just wanting to move through that ravine right now. Godv can make a play around it, yeah, they know exactly where he's at. Shots do come out back over towards Luke, about half damage. Godv has to hit the shots of his life. Look at Australia just spread out across this. Insight trying to get his side angle onto this. Grenades are coming out. Godv's just trying to buy a little bit of space, making sure nobody's sneaking up onto him. I gotta say, Australia, very, very patient, and that is 100% the way you want to play this. Godv is just trying to get something out of this, and it's just not going to happen, as everybody from Australia is just biding their time. Again, Luke takes a face full of bullets, but it's not going to be enough, as here comes the push.
They go rolling down the hill, and China will be rolling out in second. Aussie, Aussie, Aussie. Oi, oi, oi. 5 kills and a win, 15 points in the bag. And they needed it after a 10th place finish in round number 1. This will do wonders for them on the leaderboard.
I mean, Australia has been absolutely showing up at these international events lately.
These games, maybe Germany to a degree, but not quite as much as we would say for a dominating team over 2 games.
No, and I think we're seeing a very different type of PUBG here. This is scrappy, This is a bloodbath, this is who wants it the most. It's time to find out now in the map 3 coming in. It's Erangel here, and this is going to be a cracker of a game from north to south. Plenty available. Yes, teams out in the East might have to stretch a little, but it's all there to be played for.
Yeah, and exactly, and we don't really have the full knowledge of where every team's going to be dropping. It's a little bit like Game 1 of Miramar, where, of course, in that game we saw Japan and Turkey sort of hot dropping on each other. We might see something similar here. So for the first game of Erangel, at least for PUBG Nations Cup 2019, we're in for a ride.
We certainly are. A couple of teams already heading out, getting out of the plane nice and early. We need to keep our eyes. We have noted the scrims. We have talked to some of the teams. We know that basically from Roshok to that south sunny road, that just in before you get towards Amelia Island, is very busy, to say the least.
The middle section of the map, realistically. Not a lot of teams going out sort of east or west, certainly not going north or south to something like, say, military base, or up far north towards, you know, the top end of the island, Taverny, for example. Definitely nothing like Stalba. As we head in, first minute gone, and this is going to be interesting for Australia, of course. We're looking at them. They just won game 2, but on Erangel, they've got a very interesting drop location. It's sort of in between School and Pachinki.
And if you want to look at who's around them, it's pretty much everyone. You do have Finland out towards Pachinki, so that is their land, kind of going full liquid on that one, ignoring the other members and taking their playstyle. Towards the east, you've got USA out there, Turkey out there. You have a lot of teams sitting around that School Roshok cluster. Now, the switch up I'm seeing is that Team UK down in the south side are actually taking Millie base. Now, they were over in Milta Power from what we were discussing, and we've got some early action. That ain't good. A bike versus a car. I don't know who's going to win that one out, but it might be just kind of part ways, move aside.
Yeah, a bit of a stalemate there. Duckman's able to, of course, have the car advantage, but they're going to just apart from each other. Going back to what you were talking about, though, Great Britain making us look a bit silly. Also up north, Chinese Taipei towards Severny, Vietnam around shooting range as well. So a little bit of a difference here from what we might have expected, but we haven't seen any hot drops, no contestants early.
No, and Australia are really taking a very large portion within the map as well. If you look at it, they've got ruins, the water city. You do have that kind of connecting road between Pachinki, the northeast of it, towards School. So they're in a relatively nice spot here. Shinobi going to be getting the loot going. Everyone's just kind of going through the motions. That's pretty much it. We don't see too much early action. No early casualties at the moment. I would like to say, at least with a circle like this, you're going to get a great deal of play coming in. Plenty of room, but when you look central, you are looking towards a great deal of open field. So if it does go towards that East Gatka area, that does get very, very rough.
Yeah, Gatka is a common location. Generally, we see the zone shifting towards the Gatka fields, whether it's the north or south side of it. So I think we'll see Canada sort of in the mix early on, maybe around phases 1, 2, and 3. Korea, of course, South Georgia Pole. They're going to be on that side of the zone as well. Japan over towards Quarry. Russia at Ferry Pier are going to be able to push up north into the Gatka fields if it does continue to rotate towards there for the zone. And of course, Finland, Pachinki, they're center of this zone already for phase number 1. And what they're going to do here, do they pull it back? Do they play it safe, or do they stick to their usual style?
That's going to be the big question. We'll find out the answer. I'm looking at team, the German side here to really start stepping in a little bit, finding that form, finding the confidence as well. I'm a little worried after that game where it looked like they were poised to win and they fumbled it. Whether it be a misread, a miscall, whatever it may be, because they were an actual team, let's say, at least at PEL, they are a full collective then. I do expect better decision-making. I expect a little bit more. I hold a higher regard for them because they are that general, full-rounded team. Now, they have done fine. They have been getting placements, a couple of kills here and there, but you want the basics covered. They're the one team that should have that completely down.
Yeah, I mean, certainly, at the end of the day, though, sometimes you get too fed for your own good, and that might have been the case for Germany in game number 1. And, of course, game 2, they didn't get fed at all, quite opposite. In fact, they finished 8. So, in saying that, they've probably still been the most consistent over the 2 games. It just so happens that, for example, Vietnam's first game, they got 26 points. We're heading into game 3, they're still only on 26 points because they weren't able to back it up in game number 2. So, Korea, China, Taipei, Australia is technically also an Asian country. By nature, the top 5 is all Eastern countries.
And I think if you're going to be truly critical, as much as we do look at Europe being quite the powerhouse as of late, beyond that, it's very hard to ignore some of these players. And I think that's coming to the forefront here. And they are scrappy. And this is what matters in games like this, is that scrappiness. Because it isn't just that kind of clinical, very removed style we see over in PEL, for example, or the North American region to a lesser extent. This is very much play as that kind of scrappier game can be. Play your almost normal PUBG game. It is not that kind of, I guess, very well scripted game we often see. Anyway, all that aside, we are seeing those early rotations coming in. Canada's definitely trying to centralize up. They're going to try and take a very strong compound. Wherever they want to go, they do get somewhat of a pick of the litter. Australia does get a very good start. Might just head over to those yellows, kind of just south of the ruins. I'm not sure where they want to end up here, and I do wonder if they're slightly light on vehicles just purely due to where they dropped and how many teams will be around that area. We do see, again, Korea starting to leave Georgia Pole. They're heading out and trying to find their little slice.
Yeah, they're going to head up towards Everest, coming out of South Georgia Pole with a Gatka sort of zone, at least for phase number 1. It's a pretty standard push out for any team coming out of South Georgia Pole. You go up to Everest, you can scout out, get as much information as you can find before the zone starts to shift for phase number 2. If it hard shifts down south, Korea could even just back up, go all the way towards the western coastline and make their way down south if they want to, or they could just push down directly. You can see now they've got 3 on top of Everest already. Chinese Taipei making their way through as well.
Yeah, but Vietnam's engaging already, so they're going to try and get those shots through. Not fully committed, of course, very well and truly able to disengage from this. This does put a little bit of a spot towards Korea in the aspect of they need to be careful. They head down southeast, you've got Australia. You can't now move north, you don't really want to anyway. You might need to start being careful with this, because Australia are very close by, and I think it's actually Luke who's not far off from this. Now pressure coming back in from Pio, but here comes the play. Luke 12 gets contact, gets a tag, but he does not get much more. But that's information, and again, Korea gonna have to try and find somewhere to call home.
It's also information for Korea too, right? So obviously for Australia, they've noticed, all right, Korea's pushing in from Everest. They know that it's Korea as well. The only team that's going to be at Everest at this point in the game is going to be South Korea. But South Korea at least get information, as you mentioned, on Australia's position south of ruins, around that sort of yellow region, and they're very fortunate they didn't lose Loki.
No, it is a little bit of a blessing at this point. They can readjust. It's still early in the game that you just won't get prime compounds.
Yep.
That's the takeaway from this. Now you have to look again at the teams who are going pretty much in the center of this slice, because there is that land ratio, if you want to talk about it. It basically moves away from water at certain points, at certain circles. That's why teams will avoid those coastlines. Even in the north, that river still counts. So again, that's why you're looking at potentially Finland barely moving. Australia barely moving. Everyone wants to find an area around that marker, keep the vehicles up so it can allow them those late game rotations. But out towards the outskirts, you do have the, the UK side eventually slowly working forward. They're not in a hurry. If you do play or watch, for example, Na'Vi, so some of the CIS players there, the Russian side, they don't bridge camp, they don't hold it. It's not worth it at this point. So I'm pretty sure Vard and the boys know we can disengage from here at our own leisurely pace.
Yeah, they get a decent spot here, Russia. They're going for Pachinki Hill. Really good vision that they can get. They might be able to spot Thailand. They'll definitely see Argentina across the other side of the road for them. As you mentioned, the United Kingdom down south, they're in, of course, Sosnovka Island. They're going to start making their way up. Fortunately for them, going over the Lighthouse Side Bridge, they're going to be able to come into South Gatka Fields pretty much uncontested. And if they get a south zone shift for phase number 2, I mean, they're going to be quite fortunate coming in late. On the opposite side, though, their North American brothers, the United States of America, up north in North Georgia, Paul, they're going to take a bit of time.
And again, it's becoming a little bit of an issue towards the northern side of this, coming out of Georgia Pole, for example, over Everest. You do see a lot of teams congregating around that area. If a hard shift comes in, that means Korea goes from, I guess, I don't want to say a weak position, it's not, but it's probably the weaker of the few. If you're talking about centralized areas, they become the gatekeepers, and that's where they could really thrive. We'll see where that circle goes. If a hard shift comes in, suddenly it kind of spins this entire game around.
Certainly so. 50 seconds until phase number 2. Zoidman's going to be knocked down, though, by Mert. Headshot. Not sure exactly of the situation, whether or not it's a safe res, but it seems like it might be. Mert, of course, was actually the first player to die here at the PUBG Nations Cup, so that's a good start for him. Hasn't found a kill yet, but not going to get this one onto Zoidman. Easy revive, and it is indeed a safe res.
Yeah, but now we have who's the louder fans, the Turkish fans in chat or the Australian fans in chat.
Definitely Australian.
I'm going to say you're wrong on that one, but we'll find out. We'll find out if it's, if they can back up the loud mouths, the old Aussies.
I'm sure they can. As for Chinese Taipei, making their way down, they've come all the way from Severny, all the way up north, as we are now just 8 seconds away from phase number 2. Smart from Korea, they've kept Everest in control. If it does go north, that's going to play into their hands.
And again, this is the poised moment. Let's see. Pretty much safety here. I don't think it's too harsh for anyone. I think most expected it purely because of how these games go. We do have contact in the southern side with Germany finding a couple of shots through there, but I doubt they'll get much off it. This should be teams, again, this only unlocks, I guess, Gatka as a whole. It unlocks a little bit of that southern side, the forest that runs through that, just northeast of Quarry. This means there's room to move away from Pachinki and those fields. Yes, again, it's far from prime territory, but it gives room for those kind of edge-playing teams to find avenues in, like the USA, like we have China out there, like we have Germany, and Team UK.
And you can notice already, if you could say, that the whole south side of Gatka Fields is extremely open. So United Kingdoms don't see them running into too many issues at the current present time. Argentina going to be crossing away through Pachinki Fields. What's interesting to note, though, is we're reaching the 10-minute mark and we still haven't had a death. Very stark difference to Miramar.
But I think this is what we expect when we look at Erangel. This is very well refined in regards. You might catch someone on rotation. That could be a factor. We do see the bike taking a bit of a tumble, and as does the player. Now that's, again, information found in a bit of a predicament for Argentina, but they are at least somewhat safe here. I don't want to say for long, and it does slow down their rotation out of Pachinki or away from Pachinki, but they shouldn't be instantly picked up. The only deaths I see here would be lack of scouting. If someone just sends it into a compound where they probably shouldn't, yeah, you could get picked up, or just being caught off the back of a bike or out of a car. I don't see full team wipes yet. With a circle like this, it's plenty playable.
Certainly so. And for Silzen and Argentina, I don't sense he's going to go down here using 2 smokes. So, that's the cost of it. Never mind 3 smokes as he gets back over towards Church. And
oh, engagement on the south side. Hold on, I'm pretty sure Germany might be setting up a bit of a camp on that one. Maybe just playing the normal edge game, a slower game, but I wonder if they're going to be able to actually catch out players here. This is the one position where you could potentially see it. Here it is. So yes, there's Chris popping off shots, trying to adjust for that bullet drop as best he can, but it is a bit of a far one, even for a man of his talents and his stature. But it's information found, and they can still hold the line. They can make it uncomfortable on these rotations.
I think it's...
Oh
boy, no. That's some Australian driving right there. It happens all the time. They'll be fine, don't worry. But Chinese Taipei might not be. They're not inside of the zone. It's a bit of a gatekeep here from Germany over towards the cliffs as we see Moody send it back over to Canada.
That's nice. Maybe, I don't mind Canada trying to be a little bit brazen with positions. I don't mind them taking that, being a little bit cheeky on it, trying to push out, try and hold territory. It's a very nice complementary position if you hold both across those fields. But Australia did have the numbers 2-1, so why not send it in there, take it over. Good job for them. The rotations will be slowed down. This 2-2 split could be less than intentional for Australia, but they'll hold it for now. We still see that southeastern scrap continuing forward, but it is going to be disengaged, and there will again be room for these boys to find route.
And we're about to reach the 12-minute mark. Still really not much of note has, in fact, happened. A couple of knocks here and there, some close exchanges. Australia have been really the highlight of this entire game.
It's nice of them to put on a show for us.
Look,
very nice.
They know that everyone else is not really doing too much, and so they want to make it interesting at least. Here comes the United States of America, Bahawaka, Valiant. They've been having a rough time as well. We haven't spoken too much about them.
No, because there's not much to speak about. I mean, it's been a very quiet performance from the old USA.
I mean, right now, you know, usually it's EU versus NA. Well, it's OCE better than both of them right now.
I think that's a bit of a stretch. We'll let you have it because you've won the game finally. We're all very proud of you. But for now, we'll see if they can maybe avoid running each other over, getting knocked very early on. It's quite tricky for them. Anyway, Circle going to come in, and let's see who gets caught on this one. This is where it's going to start hurting. And now it goes northeast. Australia have a wonderful 2-2 split. Intentional or not, they're in a prime position here. You may want to try and reconsolidate this. The northeast side is now treacherous because it's an open field.
Yeah,
that area is not playable for more than a couple of teams.
It's a tough one with the road split as well.
And look at this field as well. There's so many quote-unquote unplayable areas. We're going to have a lot of casualties in the next couple of moments.
Certainly so. I mean, we kind of expected. We are now into phase number 3. Australia are going to regroup just south of Ruins towards those yellows. Luke 12 and Insight will group up with Vasily and Zoidbait. USA going to wrap around the western side of the Gatka fields, heading towards Everest. And now it's time for South Korea to make their way down the mountain and join the fields of Gatka. Canada, do they just hold this position?
I think it's a decent one. If they can hold that 2-2, it's great, but it's dangerous. This is how much faith do you have in a mix? How much faith do you have in these players that you don't know that well? Germany going the massive swing up towards the northeast side. They're hitting that blue. They're going to just touch on towards that. But coming into this, it's not going to be an easy area for them to play into. There's actually already teams in this area. There's already a couple of those positions kind of, I guess, covered off, so they may not be walking into a great situation. And with a headshot like that coming through, it's made it a little bit worse. Now they have to err on the side of caution because they've already got Brexco down relatively low. He's a little bit of the walk-in wounded here. He will manage to stay alive, I can imagine, but the rest of the team need to make their play through, and there we go. It's USA looking like they are in dire straits. That's another tragic loss for them.
Yeah, of course, United States, they try to just push through. They get sprung upon by PO of South Korea. Zeppo on top of Everest has to fall away, and for Valiant, unfortunately, he's going to have to be left behind. For the United States of America, it's about trying to just get all the rest of the 3 players out of this situation. Don't feed any more kills to Korea.
It looks like they're okay. Zampa is on an island. The other 2 have escaped, at least for now. But Zampa, I don't know how well he's going to get away from this. I don't think Korea's going to hunt this because he's going to go deeper in towards the blue. The south side is looking a little bit busy as well. Zampa's going to go on the long way around. Reconvene.
Oh, no! Great Britain, United Kingdom, Varden Reels.
Not so united, not so great. It's all looking a little bit worse for we're in the southern side. We're seeing all these teams struggling with a way forward, and actually this could be further problems. You have got V on the other side, the one man you do not want to tangle with. Michael is sending it. He wants nothing to do with that. He wants some safety, and he finds none of it.
Chai Wei gets the knock onto Michael. Miracle last but alive. Can he find a way to salvage this scenario for the United Kingdom? No, he cannot. Last place for the United Kingdom, and as an Australian, well, that just makes me pretty happy.
You've got to have some things to be happy about. You are Australian. I'm glad we can provide that for you once again. In the south, though, Russia and Brazil finding a bit of engagement. But beyond that, you do see Turkey trying to find a way forward towards Germany. It's a bit of the PEL battle here. We have a lot of the standard names we see time and time again, potentially about to scrap.
Luke 12 actually picking up the crate center of that zone, and Australia are going to get another really good beat. But Vietnam just quietly on the north side of this circle as well. Could become a factor. Brexco with a knockdown onto a beautiful D. Germany getting involved here towards Watertown.
Yeah, but now look at this circle. What we have available is very, very limited. Canada still very strong. Australia very strong. Vietnam very strong. Finland doing okay for themselves. This is scary. Korea sending it in as well. They're going to be joining Canada. And actually, the Canada need to be careful to not overextend here. They've been caught in transition. Sixmo just caught off Kaint. And we do see Udir trying to peek up and above. And that could be maybe a catch-off. Mert needs to be very cautious to not over-peek in this.
Sixmo still inside of Watertown for Turkey. Udi with a nade, he's got 2 more to use, but you don't really want to use them all too early. Mert holds on for now for dear life, and, well, certainly on a prayer. Brexco is still inside of Watertown.
You may win the battle, but the war is further ahead. You have the Chinese team setting up gatekeeping on this. You have USA setting up on this. Even if you win this battle, you move away from it, you're going to finally kind of fumble over yourselves. These 2 teams are in a very bad position now. Suddenly it's not looking so good, and we have Korea and Japan about to clash as well. That's over towards the east of Gatka. That's a huge fight. They're turning up, and it looks like Aqua 5 already sends them packing.
Yeah, Aqua 5 is going to be able to get Says just north of Chopsticks here at the Yellows. Gab is still alive, but he's basically got no health at all. Death at the backside of this yellow building. Shinobi is up. They've only actually knocked down 1. And so for the entrance that Japan was able to have, South Korea haven't really been able to really deter them at all.
Not yet. It's that kind of melting pot. They're trying to get the heals off. They need to buy their time. Chris has fallen. Germany's not looking so good. Japan trying to find a way around. They're looking for that angle of approach that might allow them maybe a pick, a knock, something. The nades come through, and you can see all that utility being put down. This is deadly!
Shinobi knocked down! And South Korea get another knock, but they still haven't been able to convert any of these.
He's pushing, he's looking for this one. Here comes the aggression. They're trying to go on the cleanup. They're looking so into this.
Germany's just been eliminated. The Molotov gets the knockdown onto Gabba as well. Shinobi finished off by Pio. He is the star for South Korea. And they're just about finishing off Japan, 2 left alive.
We do have a third party in the background, but that's just kind of clutching at straws. They're trying to pick them off. Japan's worse for wear, to say the least. They are broken into pieces, desperate to stay alive by utility, and that's about all they've got. Now look at Ruins. You do have the Turkish side working towards USA. That's a very hard disengage. Look at that gap. Look at the difference. That's why the utility is going down here. This is not going to be an easy way to move out for the Turkish team. They need to get a couple of knocks. They need to find a way through, and that is not the way.
Bahawaka gets on the board, but can he confirm it for the United States? Hyro tried to get away, crawl away, but he can't get away from Bahawaka. 6mo, Mert still alive. Mert hanging on by the skin of his teeth as we go back to Japan and Korea. Gabba's been knocked down as Sae's actually jumps into the yellow.
This is insanity. Oh no, Korea.
Yep.
Korea, you have to be so careful to not do this, because look off to the side. He gets down one, but the trade is instantaneous for Korea. Now can they find the rest? Wait, Pio's just been found.
And he gets 2, but unfortunately Loki finishes him off and Japan go down to South Korea.
We're down to 12 teams. We are looking like these last remainders on the outskirts, desperate for a way in and not looking. Oh my god! Oh my god, run!
Maluk!
Can you believe it?
Sorry! We'll take 2. 1 for the road.
Another nade coming in. Is that going to be good as well? No one's still there. He can't quite get it, but Pio's bleeding. He's gone. He's gone down. That's a huge loss. Canada has timed this so perfectly. Striking while the iron's hot, moving in while they're bleeding from the wayside.
And if they can complete this fight, they'll have basic zone control on the western side of this next zone for phase number 5. Aqua 5 holds the window. Loki still alive as well for South Korea. You cannot underestimate this team. They've been able to get 3 standing. South Korea will not go down without a fight.
They won't. It's time to dig their heels in. Can they hold on here? Because look at them come. Moody's having a look. He fancies it. And we know Korea have burnt through all of that utility. Now they're pinned in, and Canada needs to clear this out and fast. They can't stay alive for long. They can't sit in this position. You want to move around. That's why Moody is there, clearing it out as he goes. And Korea's just hunkering down, taking their time, peeking those angles. But Drassel's on the play. K-Mine's wanting to do this. This is really well orchestrated thus far.
Really smart from both teams, really playing it slow. But it does give South Korea the advantage of being able to heal back out. Dressel's going to be knocked down though, pushing in. Interdics are going to be knocked down too. Canada is the 1-1 trade. Loki down, and Canada get the annihilation onto South Korea.
But while this all happened, Vietnam took the opportunity and moved into their old home. So yes, Canada cleared out one threat, but Vietnam have just moved in and claimed their stake. Now, up on the other side of things, we finally see Russia turning up here towards Brazil. They hold the house. They try and hold on to this one. They're in a good spot here, at least for now. Finland not far off. You still have China there and Australia in a bad position. They were looking pretty good for a while, but maybe they took their time. Maybe they got slowed down by the Turkish side.
They still got 4 alive though. 3 over towards the yellow. Luke One's going to be knocked down by himself. Matt 98 will take out the fragger from Australia. There's still got 3 alive as Mexi from behind tries to remonstrate. And it's not able to get the knock on the Mad 98, who actually gets a quick double tap on the Mexi, is Finland. Well, this is certainly a better game from them.
Yeah, we are seeing USA, though, moving in. Australia's in all kinds of trouble here. They need to be very cautious about which fights they take, how much they show, because they are very near to each other. China keeping them well kept. Tixu's chomping at the bit to dive in. Zampa finds Zoidmate, and Australia are not looking so hot right now. They're down to the limited numbers, and look at Zampa's angle. It's so strong. He shows insight, what he can see in this situation, and they're pushing on this now. Look at Finland. There goes Australia. Yeah, they may be better than the Brits, but at least they're done for now. Finland, though, see this all happening. They hear it happening, and they're holding the line here. But the USA are pinching in China. They're closing in on this from both sides.
And Sixmo's in here as well for Turkey. The Turkish band, he's still alive. He's hanging around throughout all this action. Summer inside of the blue, behind the tree, but losing health. Now knocked down, now eliminated. China are out. And the United States now turn their attention to Sixmo from Turkey. After that, it'll be Finland.
You have to keep your eyes on Vietnam in the bigger picture here. They moved in at the perfect time when Canada moved over to clear out Korea, but look at this. This fight over in the Northeast is still so scary. We know the Turkish team can play a cautious game. Sharky's had none of it. He can smell the blood in the water. Sixmo's gone, and as is Turkey. And now it's time to look towards the next fight. It's Finland, cold as ice, holding the line. They did lose out on a player, though. Mexi with a good tag. Zampa's in all kinds of trouble. And Tixu's nade could be worth its weight in gold if it made it far enough.
Bahawaka with a knockdown onto Mexi. United States have improved on Erangel. In fact, most of the teams that are still alive have done a 180 compared to Miramar's performances. Mexi going to get revived as there are actually some shots from Vietnam, the entire zone away towards United States.
United States do need to keep making a move on this, so the ground they currently hold is basically an open field behind them. They do not have a long time to stay in this spot. With the blue on their back, they need to make the play. Finland realize this. They know what's next steps. They know what's ahead of them. And now here comes Canada trying to make the cross, trying to head over towards Vietnam, but the spot's been made and the tags come out. That's why Drassel's got that 24 to hand. He's trying to get the pick, give them opening. I would say the one thing for Vietnam here is they're all isolated in these buildings. One knock isn't a safe revive anymore.
Certainly not. Nades, though, are still available for Vietnam. Maluk's going to be knocked down by that one from Basil. Second one to follow, only gets him down to half health, but a third one may just do the job. Maluk trying to crawl away, is able to. It'll be safe, though, for K-Mine to go for this revive. For Canada, they're going to make up their mind. Maluk's going to be eliminated, though, by Nim. And now they've got the pressure.
They certainly do. Feeling it build. You can see the Molotovs on the floor slowing down Canada. The role they started to build has been tempered, has been hindered. And Vietnam again turn their attention to who's further afield. The Russian side. Isolated, sure, but still able to get a good bit of vision towards Finland, keeping them very much at arm's length. And look at Moody trying to make a play here, trying to find a bit of an angle to find approach. A doozy there towards Samti. PEL brothers in arms. Action upon action. And the push from Zampa. That's really good timing. He sees them bleeding. He sees them wounded. He sees them vulnerable. And they capitalize.
Tixu, last one remaining now for Finland. They've only got the 3 kills. It could be a 5th place finish. It might not be really what Finland would want out of this first game on Erangel. They'll still take it compared to the Miramar performances, but what's interesting to note is right now, no team has got center control.
Oh,
Moody going to be knocked down by Senya. Drasso and K-Mine have got a lot of work to do now for Canada.
The CIS god Senya there. Not just IGL at this point, but showing he certainly can frag with the best of them. But what another loss for Canada. One by one, they keep getting picked apart in the worst possible ways. The nades coming through. Russia needs to be careful of how they get into the circle. I don't know the best option. They do still have vehicles. They might need to send it. And now it's open field. This is anyone's game here.
It is anyone's game, and it's all up for grabs. Game 3 of the PUBG Nations Cup into Phase 7. The United States are technically the closest to this zone, but Russia making a beeline push towards the eastern part of this circle. K-Mine going to be eliminated by Sapao. Drassel does get Nim, but it's all he's going to be able to achieve. Canada out in 5th.
A good hold from them, but Vietnam found that positioning so well. I cannot get over how perfectly they played that. They do still have a vehicle ready to go. USA, I'm pretty sure, are operating without vehicles at this point. So they are purely on foot, and there's very limited cover. We all know this area. We all dread this area. There's always that one person with, you know, the SLR or something tapping away at you. And that's what we're going to see Vietnam sending it. They're flying in there, and that is getting everyone's attention. They're smoking. Oh, they've lost down another.
And Tixu gets a knockdown onto Kemmer, but does go down to a doozy. And that's going to be Finland out in 4th position. United States, Vietnam, and Russia are the final 3 teams here for Game 3. So power knocked down by Sharky. United States might not have the vehicles, but they got the firepower, Pansy.
They need the utility too. They need it all. Uber's going to try and find a nice little position here with a bit of hard cover to play on. And that's a very nice spot. It's not looking good for Vietnam. And no, it's not indeed. Welcome to the top 2 now. 7 players alive. And we know who it is. The USA up against the Russian side. The USA hold the northern position. The Russians hold the southeast. And the Russian team are making their move as Sharky just got knocked.
Zampa might have best position in the zone, but Russia have got that numerical advantage. It's a 4 versus 2 scenario. Zampa's been spotted out almost at about half health. Now definitely below it. He's going to get knocked down. It's not looking good for United States. And Bahawaka is the last one alive. He needs to pull off a clutch 1 versus 4, but it doesn't seem like it's going to happen. The CIS team, it's Russia for the first game of Erangel.
That's the sort of performance I expected from these boys. That's why a lot of the analysis guys, a lot of the guys on the desk were looking at them to pick up a big performance. Miramar didn't look good. They said it on the desk. We were waiting to see them capitalize on aggression, find those moments to...
assistance from Chinese Taipei, so since then it hasn't been as great for them either.
Absolutely. Well, you know I'm excited to see the boys from the USA and Canada turning up big in that last game. Team fights finally starting to go their way, but here we go into match 4 on Erangel. All right, there's your plane path. You see a very far, kind of an eastern tint here. Our boys that are going to be looting up on the western side of the map going to have a little bit of traveling to do.
Yeah, absolutely. A few of the teams that like to go over to the west that we've seen so far, especially Korea likes to go to South Georgia Pole, are going to have a little bit more of a challenge finding some vehicles getting over there, etc. But most of the teams like to drop on the eastern side of this map, so this isn't going to be too much of a struggle for them. I don't expect to see too much fighting, maybe over a few vehicles early on, trying to get to the Georgia Pole area.
That's the big exclamation point right there. You want to be keeping an eye on those esports vehicle spawns. Those are going to be extremely popular right here very early on. As we see, Razak is kind of a popular. You see Korea dropping a little bit far north of Razak here.
Yeah, absolutely. There's that dirt road that's on the northern end of that river there as they head over there. Now, it's kind of interesting. The Koreans like to call South Georgia Pole Gangnam. Why? So everybody knows the famous song Gangnam Style, right? Gangnam is a district in Korea. It literally means south of the river. So they actually call South George Gangnam. So they all like to go there. It's a very popular spot. They consider it to be one of the best, if not the best spot on the map.
Well, there you go. I'm learning something new all the time with you, Paper Thin. And there we go. See, Bahawaka is going to find himself an esports vehicle spawn. As we see, our circle has popped, and we're going far to the west. It's going to be interesting. This is now leading the teams to decide whether they want to go north or south of the river. Obviously, southern side favoring it a little bit more.
Yeah, this has got to be a really happy moment here for teams like Finland, especially, who is going to have a lot of early access to pick their location that they want to rotate to early. They have the entire western edge to themselves outside of Pachinki, so I'm really excited for them to see exactly how they take advantage of this, because I think an early rotation would really benefit them. Find an early spot. This edge game hasn't really worked for them.
You see Korea already on the move. You see Pio with 11 kills leading his squad so far. Korea currently sitting in that second place position with 29 total points. Vietnam, though, starting to generate a little bit of a lead here. Have to see if the boys from Korea can surmount that here in game number 4.
Well, this Vietnam squad is really interesting, right? We've been talking about it. We haven't really seen them on the big international stage in a while, but they have some absolute monsters. Their in-game leader, Levi's, he's also the #1 fragger in Vietnam. They have another guy, Basil, who's a really good sniper. We've seen him play quite well. Sapao, who is a really good support player. We've seen him have some big moments here for this team. So this is a really interesting team, and they've showed up big so far today.
Absolutely. Vietnam definitely raising some eyebrows here, at least in the early opening parts of the Nations Cup. Check in on the United Kingdom, looting up around Milta Power. I see Reels apparently just looting by himself. See, checking on Vard. Everybody just spread out there on that far side of Milta Power. They do have a little bit of traveling to go, but they should be okay. As we see Mad 98 all by himself in this game.
Yeah, definitely. I think, you know, UK, they have the most difficult rotation here because they're over in Milton Power, but they've played really well so far in the scrims this week. We saw them be extremely efficient. So they were a team that I actually picked to be in the top 5 here. So far, hasn't gone their way, but this is a team that has a lot of potential and a really strong coach, man. So they could do well.
Absolutely. They do have a lot of options. Oh, here we go. Jemty is all by himself in this compound. Zoimbate's going to come in. He's going to get immediately taken down. That is Vasily. And that is Aussie losing one early. Yempty. Things may be turning around for Finland here in match number 4.
And this is what I was talking about. A nice early rotation here from Jempty to set up the pick onto Australia. Gives them a big first kill and a point. Maybe this is the point where it starts to turn around for them.
This is also obviously good news for the boys in blue and white as we check in on Turkey. Just still kind of hanging around in the Razak area. Iro going to spot the U.S. team making their way across the bridge, looking for a little bit of a northern rotation on this circle.
Yeah, Iroh doesn't want to give his position away there. He's just going to let the U.S. come through. Now, still, Baja Waka is coming up behind the rest of Team USA. The other 3 members are in front of him, so he might have a difficult situation here. He's going to try to drive through.
Here we go, Baja Waka right on top of Sixmo, and that is the worst time to hit the rock in the road to send that vehicle flying, but Baja manages to right the ship in time, but look at Iroh's right on top, and that's going to be Baja Waka going down early. USA down to just 3.
The patience from Iroh pays off here, and they are able to pick up a free kill on that straggling member of USA, setting them back a little bit as they make their rotation here just to the east of shooting range. We'll see if they decide to keep pushing. We've got Nim from Vietnam, who's already set up in shooting range.
It was an extremely risky rotation there by Baja Waka, coming across that bridge, playing very, very close to Razak, knowing that the Turkish team loots in that location. So unfortunate the gamble did not pay off that time, but here we go, checking on Argentina. There's opting for the compound just to the south of Everest here.
This is a really interesting split here from Argentina.
Oh wait, this is awesome.
Look at this.
Oh, we moved. This is
now
Australia.
we're in Australia.
I've thrown everything. Everything's falling apart here.
Just to give people an idea, Argentina, now they both start with A's, so I'm saying both. Argentina was doing a big 2-2 split, but now they're kind of going up to a 3-1. Korea's doing the Korea thing. They always like to go on to Everest. They love this mountain. You get so much information from up there, and they know how to work that position so well, especially because you got 2 members of Gen G on this team who almost always drop South George, so they know how to play this position so well.
Checking in on Canada, they dropped Military Island as their spot was not very easy to get to given the plane. They are running very, very close to Russia here as well. So they may run into it. It looks like Drassel might have spotted them and pulled off of there. We check in with Great Britain. They have left their Milta Power looting location and started moving directly to the west. Not trying to do any long rotations here.
Yeah, this was, I think, a nice patient play here by the UK, waiting their time. They know that there's a lot of teams that are going to be going in ahead of them. They unfortunately, because of the position they're in, they have to wait. They get the last turn at the dinner table, right? They're the kids at Thanksgiving. You got to wait till all the adults have gone through, and then you get your turn to get your food.
Japan opting for that long rotation up to the north side by Stallberg, as we see Russia has now been by themselves there on the far western coast just south of Gak. Vietnam now pulling up to a compound as we see Brazil in the background. Not in the line of sight just yet, but we could check in with Korea now, doing a split again. We've seen them have a pretty wide split early in the last game here, keeping one on top of Everest. Now, Pio joined by Loki.
This is something that's become kind of trendy in the Korea region, to do these long 2-2 splits to try to control as much territory as you can. Take advantage of long sight lines. Give yourself not only information, but ability to put shots into teams as they try to rotate to you. At least do some damage to them, but at the same time, understanding where they're going to be moving, and then you can take advantage of that.
Chinese Taipei making a nice little rotation through the fields just to the east of Quarry. You see Bard gets an eye on Sixmo here. Is he going to take the shot? Yes, he's going to take a few and send that way. Sixmo, oh, one lands there, but Sixmo should be able to get out of this fairly freely.
Yeah, Turkey's coming through here. They're sending Sixmo out. Looks like is more of a scout role for him here. He's all by himself. Going through the school first. The other members of the Turkey team are still in Razak, but they've got the UK team coming up next to them here on their eastern flank. So we'll see if they opt to just bail out and regroup with Sixmo. If they're going to try to maybe fight this out, maybe the UK is just going to rotate to the north. So there might not be a fight there.
Ooh, we see Canada spotting out a doozy in the kill feed there. But right now, Vietnam hears China. They hear the vehicles just to their north, not having any lines of sight just yet. A doozy all by himself. That is not likely to get rest here. You do see some return shots coming in from Russia, though, trying to make me see if they can squeak out a trade here.
Yeah, Canada's trying to set up for a bit of a wide angle onto this. Russia has set up onto the top of Everest there. You can see one of their members, and in fact, oh my goodness, Moody runs over a doozy to finish him. But the other members of Russia trying to put some shots in, but it's such long range.
All right, here we go. The circle is going to go south. So the teams that opted to go north, thinking that maybe they might get favored by a far north Circle 2 here, gonna have to find their ways back across the river. You can see the United States going over in that
Georgia pole spot here. Sharky gonna find himself a kill on a Summer. He's not even gonna have to waste the bullets to finish that one, as the vehicle's gonna do it for him.
Yeah, so a few more vehicle mishaps going on here. Summer will go down, and that is 3 members left, but we've got Finland coming in here with Argentina trying to crash in as well.
All right, Argentina finding themselves right on top. Tizku is going to take some shots in the back, and yes, he's going to go down to Ernesta. Samty will find a way to get away, though. He is going to take some fleeting shots here. Nothing really going to be too scary, but that's Finland losing one. Tizku getting finished off.
Yeah, it looks like Samty will be able to get away here. Finland trying to regroup with their splits. They did a good job taking position early, but they were caught a little off guard there by Argentina. Tizku pays the price.
All right, we have RDNX in the ruins with the Brazilians. They have not had the best day so far today, but we can see if they can turn things around here in game number 4. Canada still trading shots back and forth. You see Milk gonna take out Maluk, is gonna get downed there. Now to see if the smokes are out, the vehicle's gonna block it off. They should be able to get this res, but Milk got him dead to rights.
Milk is trying to climb up the wall to get the angle here, but now Russia's getting in on the action. Uva takes out Maluk, stealing that kill.
And this is the risk that you take in every single one of these high-tier lobbies. You never know where those third-party shots are going to come from. This game so far, Paper, has been a lot more active early than it was in the first game on Erangel.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we saw 64 alive for so deep into the first game here, but now a lot of teams, because of the nature of the circle, because there were so few teams in it to begin with, a lot of teams are catching each other in transition here, so we're seeing a little more early action. This is the Vietnam team moving through the school area and making their way into the circle now, setting up a 3-1 split. This is something we see Asia teams do, where they'll send 3 out ahead sometimes to kind of secure the position with somebody in the back to make sure that their rear flank is covered.
Check on United Kingdom coming in from the southeastern part of the map. They're going to stop on the high ground, see what they can spot out. Turkey still trying to make their rotation here. They did spot out the Vietnam squad, but nothing really to come of it just yet. Sixmo going to reposition that vehicle. Vietnam looks like they're going to be content with just moving just inside the circle rather than trying to dive too deep.
Yeah, and this is an edging team. This is what we've seen from them throughout this tournament, and what I expect to see them. They like to play the edges. They seem really comfortable with it. They're very confident in their shots, and I think if you're an aggressive, if you could shoot really well, then playing the edges can be very effective because you're going to pick up a lot of kills.
Absolutely. We check in with Japan here, just behind Thailand. This is on the far southern side of the circle. Thailand, this could, we've seen this happen before, where they could decide to just hit the brakes, turn on this real quick, but it looks like they're just going to go ahead and keep their rotation going. Stop on the hill. C's going to keep them at arm's reach there.
Well, all you need is Duckmans.
Oh yeah,
he's the only one. We've seen that so many times where the Thai teams just have one person left and they just go absolutely crazy. Just dead center with this next circle, though, Poro.
It's about as easy as it gets. Argentina feeling great right now, as they are in a 2-2 split in the most popular compounds right there in the center. Canada just to their south. We see Australia playing the spot that Finland was playing in the game 1. This is a remarkably similar circle to what we just saw last game.
Yeah, this is really close to the same, and you see a lot of the teams playing it about the same way. Korea's got that 2-2 split kind of. Now they're kind of grouping up for a 2-1-1, but oh my goodness, Bard landing some nice damage onto the members of Chinese Taipei.
And Chinese Taipei trying to make their rotation in. Looks like they found a free compound. Fortunate for them, and SR should get res. Yeah, he's going to be fine. See, you can hear the bullets still landing from the Argentina squad. Nothing going to find the home, though.
I thought Leo might accidentally get run over there. That car kind of got pushed towards him, able to get in that window. Okay, that Chinese Taipei team is really interesting to me. They're the only team that just literally took like the 4 best fraggers from their region and put them together. A lot of the other teams tried to put together a team that have a great shot caller, a good sniper, a good support player, and a good front liner. Taipei's just like, nah, we're just going to bring our best fraggers and go for it.
See what we can kill, and so far they've been doing pretty well here, as we see Vietnam still once again on the edge of that circle just to the west. They have sent 2 in, 2 still outside. Turkey kind of keeping an eye on them, as we see Japan trying to make their way across wide open fields here. This is always a little bit of a scary moment.
Yeah, definitely. They've got Thailand there on their east. Canada is up ahead. The remaining 3 members of Canada are up there as well. Looks like they're content to just find an edge position in this little 2-house compound with a shack as well, and set up here for now. They took a few shots from Thailand, nothing landing though. So it looks like that's going to be their home for now, but it's going to be a difficult rotation for them, especially if this circle shifts north.
Absolutely. Name of the game there, scouting out the compound, not trying to get too greedy. Japan just taking what they can get, what the circle provides them. And Tanawa going to take some shots there from range. Japan just making sure that they know, don't peek that. Don't peek that.
Yeah, Shinobi getting a few shots there onto the members of Thailand, but for now they're content to just back off, just try to do a little bit of damage, wear down the utility of their opposing team, and try to play for the later game here. And again, you can see Shinobi there up on top of that vehicle, trying to get an angle into the houses, but it doesn't look like he's going to get much done there.
There you go, Vietnam, the trailing 2 members, going to try to make it into the circle to join their other 2 squad mates. As we see Turkey making their way into the ruins, so things calming down a little bit here towards the center part of the game, but I have a feeling with this next circle pop, it's going to start getting a little testy. And there we go, the hard shift to the southwest. Canada feeling good, Argentina feeling good, but we got a lot of teams up there to that northeastern part that are about to run into each other.
That northeastern part of the circle is going to be very, very chaotic. The ending to this looks like it might be a field ending as well, so it's kind of puts you in a difficult position. Center circle is basically right in the middle of a field. You don't want to be there. But if you're not a team that likes playing in the outskirts, but wait a minute, we got a fight breaking out here between the USA and Japan. We've got a knock and a flush here from Valiate.
There you go, the crash came in at the exact same time. USA managing to get the first down. Japan, the rest of Japan has managed to find a foothold though. They have a building to work with. Zampa trying to find an outside angle. Gonna get spotted out by Depp. They're gonna have to reposition off that. Not gonna get the flank that easy.
Yeah, Depp, one of the top fraggers for Japan in their region. Meantime, we've got Vietnam trying to cross through. A great rip by Chris. Takes Basil out.
And here we go. We said it was about to get bloody, and here it is. It's Chris trying to find it. Oh, Canada finds Brazil. Thailand right on top of them. Australia as well. We don't know who's getting to who here. Everybody is vulnerable. Luke 12, the last one up for Australia. He's got next to no health. Brazil has been eliminated by Canada. At the same time, Drassel going to try to get the res on the Moody, but Luke has a grenade. What's he going to do with it?
This was an absolute bloodbath. 4 teams fighting it out here. You can see Argentina was on the eastern flank of all of this, just putting death and destruction into Australia. Canada able to weather the storm somewhat. Australia, though, absolutely torn apart, but some great shooting there from Matt. Takes down a beautiful death.
And he almost got traded out at the same time. Sixmo knows exactly where he is. He's going to send the grenade. Will it find a home? No, it's going to roll just downhill. Mad 98 does get the heal off. Does he have any support from his squad mates here? Yes, he does. As they go, now PO coming in from the side as well. Turkey in a lot of trouble now, pinched.
Korea wants to third party this battle between Turkey and China. They have completely surrounded these 2 teams. However, Loki is all alone in a compound outside of this. Finland's rolling up as well, but Turkey doing some work here. Iroh does get that knock finally onto Mad, who tried to weather that as long as he could. Now it's up to December the 12th, trying to snake his way through.
He's going to stay alive as long as possible. As we see Sixmo, they still have to make their way into the circle here. Korea in a perfect spot to gatekeep this squad. They're going to have to go low, see if they can try to make their way in, break line of sight. As we now check in with the Korean squad, they have the Finland team wrapping around them. They are getting surrounded slowly but surely.
Turkey just got bought a bit of a gift. We'll see how it plays out, though. Finland has rolled up here to help surround this Korea team now. Now, where it looks like Korea was surrounding Turkey, now they are kind of getting pinched between a couple different teams themselves. Dio trying to land some shots, not quite able to connect. Nice little move there by the Iroh member.
You can see Finland is down on the high ground. They have the low ground. And Onyx is going to get taken out by Sixmo. Mert manages to make it to a tree, but the blue is right on him, and he's going to go down. And that's going to be PO Pio, can he get an angle on this to maybe pick up the kill, get the point? We still have one up for Turkey though. Iro, can he make the hero play? Vietnam, we've checked on, they're making their way in, and it's going absolutely nuts in the northeastern side of this circle. Turkey goes out as Iro gets finished off.
Finland and Vietnam are in a battle now as well. It looks like Samsey here trying to protect the members. He blows up Nim's vehicle. Vietnam getting destroyed. They wanted to third party this. That's been their specialty, coming in and cleaning up kills. But Finland finally showing some life and defending this position very well. Only one member left here for Vietnam.
Finland down to 2, but those 2 are doing some work here as now Canada's getting crashed by Chinese Taipei, and they are going to make short work of the boys from Canada as Drassel, K-Mine, Maluk all go down. They should be able to get both reses off here as Shaiwei and Milk going to be able to take that northern part of Chopstick. We see Korea trying to hop in the vehicles, make a mad dash to get into the circle. Managed to do so far. Where are they going to go, though? Argentina, every compound is filled. There's nowhere safe to go here.
No, this is so difficult of a rotation here for Korea. There just isn't much available inside of this circle. You can see Aqua 5 and Loki in this Dacia trying to find some way in here. Luke has to defend his position, but Russia's crashing in as well.
Russia's on top of Luke, and he's managed to get 2. Uwe and Senya are down. Can he do it? The impossible? No. And now this is Korea pushing right back on top of this, and that's going to be a huge nade from Loki as they manage to wipe the Russian team.
Just waiting long enough to finish off Russia. Great timing here from the Korean team. They've got 3 up now and control of the center circle. Zampa coming over here to flush out this member of Japan. It will be Depp going down here. Only 2 members left for Chin. Says though gets the rip and the flush on Evaluate.
What a great shot. Angle hold there by Says. Zampa's going to get taken out. Valiate's going to get flushed. Sharky, the last one up for the United States. Japan with a great patient hold here as the United States trying to find their way through Gatka to make their way into circle.
Says is sneaking up onto Sharky here, trying to get the information. It's a 2v1 here. Can Sharky defend this? They're both out. Both of these teams are outside of the circle, and Sharky's got a lot of bush cover, but we've got a very patient Says trying to come up on him.
They are listening for any audio cue they can get. Is Pome gonna land a shot on Samty? Is the blue gonna take him off? No, the heel's gonna get in just in time. You can see Mexi already in circle. Samty has been spotted out. He's gonna try to see if he can survive in the smoke for a little bit longer. Can he do it? He's ducking, he's dodging, he's weaving, he's staying alive somehow. As here sees, he's getting the eyes on Sharky. Yeah, that's gonna be it for the United States, going out in 9th place.
Well played here by Japan, knocking the USA out and finding themselves on the western part of the circle. In the meantime, Pome does confirm the kill onto Samty. It's just Mexi left here for Finland. We have got 8 teams left in the circle. Centers once again, and Argentina looking very good, as well as Chinese Taipei.
Argentina's got a great position to hold. You can see they also just picked up a crate, so that's going to be a nice tier 3 armor and helmet upgrade for Ernesta. Thailand holding down the eastern Chopstick, while Chinese Taipei in the western. You see a couple of members for Korea still alive. Aqua and Pio still trying to stay for a little bit longer. It looks like they haven't been shot at too much, keeping those smokes going. Using whatever cover he can find, and he's going to send some shots towards Argentina. But Pome going to force him to stay a little bit honest here, but he's going to go down to Leo.
Wow, a little bit of help here for Korea from Chinese Taipei. I love this split that the Thailand team is doing. Look how much ground they can cover with this. They can see so much of this circle. They have so much information, and they have great cover as well.
Doing a very good job to make sure that they don't get rushed here. No random vehicle encounters, no snakes in the grass going to be sneaking up on this Thai team. As we see Sapu still alive, hiding behind a rock for Vietnam. Japan trying to snake their way in, but Pio has spotted them out, and that's going to be C's going down.
Says is knocked here. Pio looking to try to flush that kill. It is just Gabha left here for Japan. There is so much vision down this alley. Pio does, in fact, confirm that kill. It is just one member left here for Japan. Pio split out wide. He's going to have to start moving in, but Vietnam, the last member here at Sapo, he's trying to push in on Argentina.
Salo finding Ernesta all by himself. PO is going to spot out Gaba as well, but he's going to get some shots taken at him by Rybox. He's got to be careful here. He's all alone, and Gaba is going to go down to the blue Japan, going out in 8th place. Here's the mad dash from Sapu. Can he get into the zone?
It looks like maybe.
Just on the edge, yeah.
Just maybe. He looks like he's getting in there, but he's got one member of Germany. Still got Brexco over there, and you've got a bunch of members of Argentina, and Lemexi still somehow managing to survive here.
The snake from Finland staying alive a little bit longer. Sapu gets spotted out by Silzen, and that's going to be Argentina picking up another kill. They are feeling fantastic with 7 on the board already, 3 alive left as Aqua 5 gets a little bit of damage sent his way, but nobody really pushing him from Argentina. They're content with leaving him there for right now, knowing that he's there.
Yeah, and Rybox has a great position on this roof here, able to cover so much ground there. And there's Mexi, one of the people who might be able to play spoiler here and take out some members of Argentina if he finds the opportunity. But right now, everybody's just kind of waiting for this next circle.
We got a couple of European snakes at play in Mexi and Brexco from Germany. The circle still going to favor Chinese Taipei. Thailand's not going to have to move. Argentina's not going to have to move. The duo from Korea should be safe for now. The snakes, really the only ones that are in a little bit of trouble here.
Yeah, this is looking pretty nice here for Chinese Taipei. This is quite a good situation for them. And we'll see how this one plays out. There's quite a bit of circle left to work with here, though. And like you said, Thailand as well having a decent position. The problem for Argentina and Korea is they're both down a couple members, so it's going to be a little bit more challenging for them.
Yeah, Argentina going to play this a little bit safe. They see the Thai team. He's going to send some few shots there from Pome. But nothing going to land just yet. Brexco spotting out his route here. I think Argentina knows exactly where he is. Pome was sending shots that way earlier. Silzen is going to get taken out by Aqua 5. Why is Silzen trying to spread out that far early? Argentina now down to 2 players off of a really aggressive push there, trying to get some more ground for Silzen.
Yeah, an aggressive early rotation, trying to take advantage of that situation, but Pome getting taken down by Brexico as well. They wanted center circle. Instead, they're going to lose 2 members trying to take it, but Mexi, he might hear Brexico here. He hears him, doesn't land any shots.
He saw the outline. He thought he had an idea of where exactly he was. The shots come through. Nothing lands, though, and now the 2 solos. Who will win this 1v1? Brexico realizing the circle's coming in. He lands a shot. That's going to be it for Team Finland going out in 6th place. Brexco with the hero plays for Germany.
A nice 1v1 there for Brexco, but now he's trying to push through. There's only 1 member left here for Argentina, though, so a much easier situation for him. And oh my gosh, Tanawat with the sick headshot there onto Leo with that M24. Now Pio trying to rain some grenades in. He knows just where the Chinese Taipei team is.
Korea with such phenomenal discipline, holding on to these frag grenades until the absolute last minute. They knew that Chinese Taipei was in here. They knew that they had to hold on to these until they absolutely had to use them, but nothing gonna find anything just yet. But PO and Aqua 5 still keeping themselves alive for South Korea.
They've got all the crates from the dead members of Russia and Australia to work with. The circle has shifted north. Now the 2 teams that have 4 members alive have to rotate into the circle, and a big grenade for PO.
That's going to be Milk going down. Will Korea try to make a push on this? I don't know. You can see on your mini-map, Thailand making a push into the Argentina squad. PO still has 4 frag grenades left. He's going to try to see if he can finish it off. No, he's not going to find anything just yet, though. The res is going to come up, but now Chinese Taipei in a very difficult situation. They have to figure out how they want to push out of this spot.
Yeah, you can see Pio's trying to set up on this hill to make sure he can cover this rotation. He gets the knock onto Leo, getting some damage as well with that frag grenade, trying to finish this off. Supplies for day here for South Korea. It's a little bit more damage done here. SR is super weak.
That was a huge down onto Leo. You can see he was back in the chopstick, holding onto that angle, playing the anchor role for Chinese Taipei. He has gone down. Now they are at complete disadvantage here to any grenade play coming from the Korean squad, but none of these nades really finding their home. PO has gotten taken very, very low. He's going to have to back off of this. Aqua now has been spotted out. Oh, it's so close.
These teams are trading blows like it's a heavyweight boxing match. So much damage being done between the 2 of them.
Here they come.
Now Taipei's trying to come up. You have SR very, very weak. He's laying down to heal. Aqua 5 as well, trying to find a way to get some heals in himself. And now once again, Pios trying to find the angle to get some more grenades. That one looks like it might be good.
That was the last one though, SR. You can see still at full health. Korea now out of frag grenades. They have very little utility, only one smoke grenade there, as we see Thailand has made the push in, and they're gonna finish off Team Argentina in 4th place.
So while all this has been going on, Thailand has claimed the compound here on the northeastern part of the circle, set themselves up in a great position to win this, but the center of the circle is in no man's land.
This is gonna be really, really rough. Thailand obviously with the numbers advantage here. Minoro gonna try to see if he can spot somebody out with that long-range sniper. He's not gonna find it. PO is gonna get the down onto Chinese Taipei. 2 players left up for you have Milk and SR coming from the south. Aqua 5 going to try to stop Duckmans, but now the Thailand team is getting hyper aggressive, pushing out into this. They want this win.
Chinese Taipei is getting surrounded here between Korea and Thailand. Pio's trying to go for the kill onto SR. Not able to connect, but he gets the shot there onto SR.
Pio making hero plays for South Korea. This duo is up to 8 kills. Milk still alive. He's going to have to go down, though. He's getting taken very low. The Thailand team pushing across 4 strong. They don't know where Milk is, but they know exactly where the 2 South Koreans are, and that's going to be Milk getting finished off by Duckmans. It's down to just 2 teams.
And there it is. Thailand will take game number 4 of the day with a big 10-kill dinner.
What a fantastic push from Thailand. Very brave, very aggressive. They knew that they had to leave their chopstick location on that western edge and have to push into the compound that was previously held by Argentina. They timed it perfectly, though, as Chinese Taipei was fighting with South Korea.
I really like that rotation at the end there from Thailand. They can cover so much ground, boxes of 2 teams laying there, and you can just rain grenades down on the Chinese Taipei and end up doing so much damage to them that you buy Thailand enough time to take the win.
There you go. You see that fantastic plane coming right out of your screen right there. The question remains going into game number 5 here on day number 1. When will the sleeping giants of the West awaken? Will it be today, or will we have to wait till tomorrow?
I thought that Finland had a good chance that game. The circle was somewhat in their favor to start out with. It ended up near Pachinki, but it just seems like they're in disarray right now. They can't seem to get on the same page, make rotations safely. They're constantly getting caught out in transition. So right now, the team that I thought was maybe the favorite from the West is really struggling.
Well, we're going to have to see what work some of these teams can do as we have another very, very unforgiving plane here. This time going from the center of the south all the way off to the west. Any of our teams that loot over in the east, the northeast, are going to be in some trouble here. But, you know, we saw a little bit of early action last game, not so much in game number 3. We'll have to see how Erangel treats us today.
Yeah, maybe around the school Pachinki Razak area early on, just because it is so long to get to those congested areas where there are going to be some teams. Maybe we might see a little early action there. Well, it kind of all depends, but over on this side, this is the last team to win a game here. It's Thailand. And they're just going to set up down here, but
Ernesta's going to get it first, and Minero's going to have to run for it. I don't know if he's going to be much long for this world. And can he juke him out? Yes, he can for right now. Ernesta, will he stick around and wait? That is 1 point that you desperately want right here. Minero, though, he's got jukes. He's got jukes all day.
Ernesta is going to get out of the vehicle because he's got a shotgun here. Now Minero's in a lot of trouble, and he does get knocked, but in fact, it's Rybox with the Bison.
That's going to do it for Minero, though, and Thailand, you know, having a great game, getting that win in game number 4. Going to be starting off with 3 as we see our circle again going over to the west. We could have the same late game circles for 3 games in a row here on Erangel. The east side of the island getting absolutely no love.
And definitely we got to talk about some of the new drop locations going on here. Canada has moved over into the Gatka area. China has gone way north. Brazil has decided to go into the crates of South George. So all of a sudden, Georgia Pole has gotten a lot more congested because of this plane path.
Also see Chinese Taipei down there with Germany just on the eastern bridge. We see you're going to go ahead and just get into that boat, try to make that really long rotation. That is That is bad news bears for Chinese Taipei. Hopefully they're just going to maybe move a little bit over to the east there and maybe loot up in Milta.
Yeah, it looks like they're de-embarking in Milta Beach there. This is the #1 team right now, only by 3 points. Vietnam nipping at their heels right now, but Korea getting consistent top 5 finishes here recently has put them in a strong position as well on the back of this guy, Pio, who is just going crazy today.
But look at that difference between first and fifth. If you are going to start making a move here, trying to make a run for first at this tournament, you're going to have to start making moves now, as it is Korea. The top of the leaderboard is already over 40 points here. You can see China in fifth, only 26.
Yeah, you know, China, 26, it's like 5th place. You're probably feeling pretty good, but that's a pretty decent gap there. Almost 20 points. You know, a solid chicken dinner and quite a few kills between them and Korea and Vietnam. So right now, this has been an Asia-heavy tournament, and the Western teams, I'm really looking at them to start stepping it up here. They've had some opportunities, but other than Russia winning game #3, it's been kind of a rough day for them. And Germany won game #1.
And Australia.
And Australia.
We'll give it to Australia a little bit, but hey, consistency is key, right? You can get those wins, but if you finish off in 16th, 15th, 13th, anywhere in the bottom half of the leaderboard and all the rest of the games, it doesn't really matter. As we see, Loki has spotted out Drassel from Canada. They're going to have to rearrange their rotation path here. Shouldn't find anything just yet. But Drassel gets out of the vehicle. It's smoking. He's going to juke him. Loki still has him in sight, but it looks like Drassel should be able to survive for now. Oh, no. Just gets behind the tree as Loki's trigger is on point right now.
Loki doing some nice work with that Mini 14, and now he's called in the reinforcements. Aqua 5 setting up on the hill here with that SKS, but K-Mine now backing Loki off, making him go behind that door to keep Drassel alive.
That's what we want to see from the Canadian boys. A little bit of return fire. Don't just take those shots and run. Try to see if you can turn something around here, as Aqua 5 is going to go ahead and join up with Loki. Canada, and after they have recovered Drassel, is going to continue their rotation path just to the south of Everest.
And this is nice for Korea for 2 reasons. One, obviously, it gives them support to help Loki in case someone tries to crash into this position now that he's made his presence known. Also, it puts them a little bit more center circle. I mean, they're already pretty center circle, but this gives them a little bit more coverage and gives them that 2-2 split they kind of like to do.
Yeah, this is also a nice little 2-2 for Canada. We see Maluk and K-Mind be holding down, or I'm sorry, Maluk and Moody rather, be holding down one compound, Drassel and K-Mind in the other, checking on the boys from the USA, coming in on the southeastern part of this circle after looting up on the western edge of Military Island. Again, Russia just right on top of them. Oh no, Finland! The troubles continue as Silzen's gonna take some shots at Jemty.
Yeah, Jemty took some damage in that US crossing across the field, and now they're looking to get over into the mountain that's west of them here. And you know, Argentina's doing this 2-2 split once again that we've seen work out pretty well. Now, they got a little too aggressive in that last round, ended up going out in 4th because they wanted to go center circle, but there was just too much congestion already in there.
Love the aggression from the Argentina squad. Want to see them tighten it up just a little bit come late game. We see Russia continuing their rotation, not really stopping for anything here, even though they had a couple of teams on their tail. Great Britain, United Kingdom rather, coming out of Milta. See, they've got another team just in front of them in Chinese Taipei after they finished up looting. And off to the west here, you have Germany, still not in vehicles. They're taking their time.
Yeah, and this could be interesting. A situation is unfolding here. Turkey is making a really long rotation across Sosnovka Island, heading to the east side, but Brexco is over there. Now, he has started moving, so there won't be a bridge camp, it looks like, but there was a potential there for a minute that could have happened.
Yeah, Turkey forced into a different looting location because of that plane coming in a little bit late. Obviously, maybe I think they realized once they saw that circle, they didn't want to have to deal with that western bridge, opting instead to go east. Germany, it looks like they are hopping in vehicles now. Looks like Turkey should be fine, though. Great Britain, or rather United Kingdom, still pushing forward. Chinese Taipei looks like Milkman has stopped here, but haven't seen any shots come out just yet. But these guys, it looks like they're just going to take their time getting into the circle. No big fights coming out. Nobody wants to fight it out in blue here.
Yeah, there's a few skirmishes breaking out around Everest right now. Germany heading across the southern part. You can see Milk here looking at the UK team passing through. Not really able to line up many shots there. Leo's pulling up as well, but it looks like the members of UK will get through relatively unscathed. Reels goes by, and there's some interesting rotations going on outside of here. You've got Thailand going way north into North Georgia pole, and then, okay, so now Taipei might be setting up a pick here. You can see Miraku might be aware of it. He's driving off a little bit.
You can see these teams are starting to learn a little bit. 2 games on Erangel, both have gone south. You can only see maybe 2 teams north of the river right now on this circle. United States posted up, Zampa on that high ground, seeing what he can find.
Yeah, the U.S. is below Japan. Japan playing the spoiler for them last round. So Baha Waka trying to land some shots with that Kar 98, trying to get some revenge on the Japanese team for getting blown out in the last round.
And Baha Waka we've seen having a little bit of trouble landing some long-range shots with the SLRs earlier. So now maybe switching over to that Kar 98 might switch things up for him. As we check in on a beautiful death. Good work here by the Turkish squad. Very disciplined, stopping, making sure that they scout out where they want to go before they go there. There's no pressure, no need to rush. Just make sure that where you want to go is clear. We see our circle 2 is about to pop. Where are we heading?
We are going...
Once again, let's go.
Let's just go west. We're going all the way west this time, centered kind of around the hospital area. So will this be another field finish? The one that's to the west of Everest. You could already see a lot of teams wanting to take up positions in the center of this circle. Finland on the move here, possibly towards South Korea.
Yeah, we can see Australia this time has taken the spot from Korea on the top of Everest. There's King staying 4 strong. Finland getting shot from every single direction right here. But it looks like Korea's going to go ahead and get into vehicles. No, look, well, Aqua 5 and Loki still trying to send some shots that way. They're just kind of more being a pain than anything right now.
Yeah, Finland is in a really difficult position now. They have spread out all the way across this field here. You've got Chemty, and I believe it's not his brother, it's Mexi. Okay, now they're trying to move,
no.
but they get shot in transition.
What a shot from Depp is going to pick out Yemti out of the vehicle, and now Tizku's going to find Silzen as Finland has decided to take the radio tower. Argentina trying to push in there late, but unfortunately it was just too late. Rybox already very, very low, and he is all by himself. As you can see, the rest of the squad is still left in Gatka.
Yeah, you've got the Argentina team kind of moving up on here, and there is a big grenade there, but it doesn't do too much damage onto Samty there, but you've got the USA shooting into their rear flank.
Yeah, Finland opting for this very strong radio tower position, but right now it's just causing them nothing but problems as they are getting shot at from every single direction. USA still holding down. They have nobody really around them, nobody really pressuring them, so they can afford to spend this time just sending shots and seeing what they can land.
Yeah, there's nobody over there where the USA is, so they've got all the time in the world, and a fascinating rotation here from the Thailand team. They went into North George, found a boat, and now they're going to try to make this work, finding somewhere on this western coast to land.
It's kind of interesting. They got 2 out in the boat, and of course there's a crate right there, as you can see on your mini-map, but they've left Duckman's behind on the shores of North Georgia Pole here. I'm not sure if he's got a vehicle, boat or not, but he is all by himself here. As we check in on crates, United Kingdom still inside, spread out very far here. Vietnam, though, looks like they're taking shots. Reels has spotted out Basil.
Yeah, we'll see if a fight breaks out here in the crates between the UK and Vietnam. You can see Turkey's rotating up here on the northeastern part. Duckman's up on your top left is waiting. We'll see if he opts to put any shots into Chinese Taipei, as they looks like they're going to push through and go across that western bridge.
Turkey being very methodical here as they make their way in from that northern side, stopping, making sure they scout. Vietnam going to crash into this building unoccupied as of right now. We check in on the Brazilian squad holding down their warehouses. They're going to spot the Vietnamese team pushing in, send a few shots their way. Nothing finding their home just yet.
Yeah, Vietnam is split up into a 2-2 split here.
No.
And there's Duckman. He doesn't want any part of any of this right now. Not exactly sure what happened, if this was the plan for Thailand to do this 3-1 split and leave Duckman's behind to get information on teams that are coming across that western bridge, or if this might have just been an accident, something happened where they couldn't get him in time, or I don't know. But I feel like they had enough time.
Yeah, this is an odd situation that they find themselves in for sure. But if we know anything about Duckmans, it's that he can operate as a solo. As we see, the circle has shifted to the east. We're going up on Everest.
Yep, this one looks like we could have a mountainous finish. We will see exactly how this one will play out. Already you can see Germany making a bit of a rotation. Here comes Turkey as well across the eastern Georgia Pool Bridge, but there's a lot of teams over in that area.
United Kingdom, Michael taking a few shots at a passing 6-mo. They're going to land a couple, but nothing too serious as Turkey has found another unoccupied compound. This is a very strong spot here on the northeastern side of this circle, but it is just on the inside of the circle. They're going to have to most likely move here eventually.
Yeah, the problem with these teams that are on the northern edge of the circle right now is it can be quite challenging to rotate if the circle heads south, getting through that open area that's exposed coming to Everest. You can see Shinobi getting a little bit of damage onto the Thai team here. Looks like Japan, they're kind of way out on the western edge here, but they've got Thailand over there. Duckmans now looks like he might be thinking about making a move, and you've got the other members of Thailand already on the western side.
Yeah, it looks like Japan was unsure maybe of how many Thai players were there. Sampi's going to get taken out by K-Mind here, at least knocked. Looks like the U.S. has taken over that radio tower position that was previously occupied by Finland. Meanwhile, Canada going to get they're going to get the flush on Sampi here as well.
Yeah, Samti looks like he will go down. The other two members of Finland might have found themselves a crate. I can see it's really close to them. Now Japan, Depp has been knocked here by the Chinese team, it looks like, as they are now kind of pinched between Thailand and China.
Oh, you can see Matt 90. It looks like he wants to push this. He knows he got that knock, but no, they're keeping him back. They're holding the chain back on the leash of the mad dog from China. He doesn't want to push out there. K-Mind, the Finland struggles keep continuing as K-Mind has spotted him out. Moody is going to take out Tisku, and that's going to be it for Finland, going out in 16th place. This was a team that was favored to win the entire tournament, and they have just been having a day to forget.
It just looks like they're completely out of sorts. They can't find any way to make their rotation successfully. Everywhere they go, they find trouble. Now, jumping back over to China, trying to put some more damage in Japan. Sez is moving into the circle into the western part of South George here, and you've got Chinese Taipei as well setting up.
Oh, this is good set up to be a crazy fight here. Duckmans, you can see him trying to make his way over as we have Thailand, Chinese Taipei, Japan, China, all on top of each other here. Duckman's gonna make it in. And we have a lot of action going on here in South George. There's a Japanese team trying to make it in. Duckman's not even bothering to stop to heal before sending those shots out.
And I love the aggression here from Duckmans. Play to your strengths, and that is what he is doing. We are going to find out where this next circle will go, and it is right over the mountain.
Australia is sitting fantastically right now. You gotta imagine that they have vision over everything. You can gain so much information. The only issue is, can you get those knocks? Can you get the flushes on any of those knocks that you get? So, you know, we talked about it earlier in game one, whenever Germany had the compound and ended up with only getting 5 kills. This could be a situation like that for Australia if they're not careful.
Right, exactly. But sometimes you just gotta take what you are given. Now, the USA team, rotating across the western flank of Korea, put a few shots in there. Didn't look like much happened. In the meantime, Duckman has been knocked here for Thailand, and you can see Aqua 5 making a bit of a rotation himself, but Godvi is up there from China. Mad gets a kill onto Leo in the background.
This is an aggressive push coming out from Korea. Godvi has the grenade on point. Duckman's taking out himself, and that's going to be a great grenade. Doesn't manage to get the down, though, and Enonix is going to finish off Godvi. That's going to be another point going over to Korea.
Aqua 5 getting things done here, acting as the point for Korea, and they get a nice kill onto the Chinese team. Took a bit of damage in the process. Now we've got Thailand rolling up on the USA. There's some other teams shooting into them as well, potentially Korea there. Now they'll have to try to breach that compound, but Waka way out there.
What is this rotation? They had no vision on this whatsoever, and they run right into China. That's going to be 2 going down for Team USA. Sharky trying to stay alive. He's going to get taken out. Zampa now the only one left alive. Can he stay alive for a little bit longer? Oh, it looks like he's just found his way into the dip.
A nice rip and flush there from Aqua 5. Now we got Tanawat from Thailand trying to get some damage into Inonix. Inonix able to evade disaster there a little bit, trying to regroup, possibly heading up with Aqua 5 while Pio provides cover fire.
Oh, Shippy is taken so low. You can already see we are down to just one player left for Thailand as they try to make their way up, and Pio is going to get the down, or the flush onto Tanawat. Shippy is still going to try to stay alive, but he is dead to rights right now from the Korean squad.
And now it is Japan versus China here. Summer trying to get the angle onto depth. Shinobi goes down from the grenade from December 12th. Summer trying to move up the hill onto the right, and Gaba has to lay down and start to heal. They're out in the blue. What a nice shot from Summer.
Big news for Korea as they managed to take out a team that was fighting for that top spot. Summer has the angle. What a shot from Gaba as he is going to come out on top of that 1v1. He is staying alive for the Japanese squad for now, but no, NZXT from Brazil is going to get the flush.
All right, Inonix now looking to gatekeep December 12th, who it just decides to go down to the circle there. That will be China eliminated in 13th place.
South Korea with 5 kills so far. They have a great spot on this hillside. They can work so many angles. Their south side is clear. You see Zampa trying to stay alive for just a little bit longer for this United States squad. They need to get some placement points here.
Yeah, Zampa's going to have to play the sneaky snake role here for the U.S. We've seen some moments from him today, but you can see Pio, I think, is pretty well aware that Zampa's down there. That burning car kind of gives it away.
Yeah, it's kind of like a highlighter right there. As we see Zampa gets taken low, the circle. Australia feeling great right now, but you gotta wonder, you gotta worry about the split for right now. You see Russia is up on top of that peak as well. You don't see any of those Australian triangles looking over in that direction. They might not have had line of sight.
Yeah, it's going to come down here to whichever one of these two can hold out the longest with these inevitable pushes that are going to come through. Pio trying to take some shots, but he's taking some damage himself there as Brazil makes their rotation into the western edge of the circle.
And here we go. K-Mine has gotten the down onto Loki. Can he get the flush? It looks like he might be able to. Loki very separated from the rest of the squad here. And yeah, he's going to get taken pretty low. Senya going to take out Udiame Fires. We see the Brazilian team trying to make a mad dash to the base of the mountain on the north side. They are under all types of pressure.
That is such an aggressive rotation here from Brazil, but they're able to make it work. Loki will surely go down. Inonix thought about going to try to res him, but they called him off. Now it looks like Inonix is just going to set up on the southern flank here. Michael making his way in for the UK, but taking a ton of damage, and he gets blown up.
And that's going to be 2 going down for United Kingdom. Turkey going to pick up both of those as Iroh is going to increase his kill count. Reels now trying to make a run as well. He's going to run himself right into this Brazilian squad, though.
It looks like he almost took the exact same path, but the good news for him was Vietnam rolled up here onto Iroh. Reels getting a knock and a flush onto RDNX there. K-Mind has knocked Aqua 5 from Korea. Now Brazil is taking a lot of damage as the grenades rain in here from the UK.
Drassel's going to get the down on Inonix as well as Brazil is taking all types of fire here. But it looks like Reels still sending grenades that way. I'm not sure if these might be coming from Russia as well, as now Reels gets taken out by a doozy.
Pio, the last member standing here from Korea. I love this play from Canada, being really aggressive on the back end of that knock onto Loki, and then they get 2 more for it. It looks like Milk, though, is going to steal the kill onto Inonix. Pio getting the knock onto Milk, though, isn't able to finish it off. Pio trying to make something out of this situation.
He might be a solo player, but that doesn't mean he's going to be quietly snaking into that good night, as he's going to take some shots from the top of the hill, and a doozy is going to get the down onto Pio. South Korea going out in 11th place.
Yeah, definitely not what they wanted there, but a great push by Canada to knock Korea out there. And you can see this is looking really good here for Russia. They have a great position, and in fact, one of the members of Australia was knocked while this was going on.
Yeah, Russia feeling pretty good, Australia feeling pretty good. Keep eyes on Vietnam, though. They still have 3 up. Turkey's coming right on top of them, though, and they are in 2nd place currently in the standings. They could jump South Korea here with a good performance.
Ooh, a beautiful death, a little bit exposed in this position here. Turkey trying to put the heat onto Vietnam. That will be one confirmed kill. Another member going down here for Vietnam. Turkey looking really strong in this fight.
Oh, Turkey is making absolute work of Vietnam right now. They are proving that they want to be recognized as a powerhouse in the European scene. Iro making some great shots here. Sapu, the last one up for Vietnam. Turkey moving as a solid unit.
Yeah, it looks like that might be the end of the day here for Vietnam. We will see. You can see Germany's trying to push up onto Australia's eastern flank. You got Kate coming up the hill here, but 4 members strong for Australia, and I think they're pretty well aware of what's going on. Yes, in fact, one of the members of Germany does end up getting confirmed killed.
Kane, you can see the rest of his squad got flushed out here behind him by the Aussies. Kane trying to see if he can stay alive. He saw that head peeking over the ridge here. Not being able to take the shots just yet. I'm not sure if the Aussies saw him. Now we check in with the Russians. Uba sending the grenades down onto the Canadian squad, not finding a home just yet.
Well, for all that hard work Canada did taking out Korea, they have a literal uphill battle in front of them as they're going to have to try to potentially knock Russia out of this position to try to get themselves the victory here. Somehow Vietnam still in this. Sapu gets a knock here onto Merritt. He is still kicking and fighting.
Sapu trying to make the courageous play for Vietnam. They have 1 kill so far. Remember, South Korea already out. They were in first place, but they did go out with, I believe, 5 or 6 kills. So Vietnam needs to have something happen here with Sapu. If they can maybe get some more placements, maybe get another couple of kills. But let's check in with Canada as they have started to push up onto Russia.
Canada getting aggressive. They got 1 knock, and they get another knock with a nice grenade from Moody. Uba has to lay down here. Kemba is bleeding out rather quick. Uba waiting for those footsteps, trying to see if he can catch a member of Canada coming over the hill.
Uba gets spotted out, and he's going to go down to Moody. Great shots coming from the captain of the Canadian squad as they make their way up the side of the mountain. And this is the aggression push we've been waiting to see from these Western squads.
Great stuff here from Canada already. 2 members of Russia down. It might be a third getting knocked here. A doozy is very low, throws a grenade, trying to get something going because now Australia, Luke has moved up to take advantage of this.
Here's the aggressive play that Luke has become known for here as Australians going to pinch the Russians in between them and Canada. Meanwhile, Sixmo, Turkey still making their way over the top. Brazil is down to just 1 player, Andy FPS, and he is very, very low health. And look at the aggression coming out from Turkey.
Turkey trying to find a way to push up this hill. Australia rotating to try to block them, to try to prevent them from encroaching on their position. It looks like for now, though, they're going to back off just a little bit, try to heal up. And Andy FPS, he's just trying to play the sneaky snake. He is waiting here, trying to see if he can pick up a free kill onto Turkey as they take damage from Australia.
Chris gets spotted out. That's going to be Germany going out in 7th place. I don't know if anybody else saw this on the minimap, but Canada just picked up 2 crates for themselves. That is level 3 gear going their way. Andy FPS is making a hero play here for Brazil. Sixmo going out, but Mert is going to come up behind him. That's going to be Turkey with 6 kills. Iro and Mert, what can they do here as a duo trying to stay alive?
Yeah, that will be Brazil going down in 6th place. The kill is confirmed from Luke from forever ago on a doozy here, and now they are in solid control of the top part of this hill. There's only 1 member left for Russia, but the western edge is entirely Canada's. But hey, Zoid just got a knock onto K-Mind.
Australia still has that high ground to work with. They have 5 kills to their name so far, doing pretty well for themselves considering that they've kind of had that circle. And you know, as we were talking about earlier, they've spotted out Iro, not managing to get the down on him just yet. Luke 12 going to be sending shots back at Canada.
What an angle Luke has onto the members of Canada. K-Mind still down for them. Looks like Maluk is going to go for the res here. Let's see if they can get it up, but Luke gets confirmed and flushed here by Seiya.
Senya with a great play here for Russia, staying alive and managing to cause problems for the Aussie squad. Meanwhile, Argentina has managed to stay alive as well, pushed out from the compound that they were previously occupied, made it all the way to the southern side of this hill. Canada still 4 strong, Aussie 3 up. They've taken the shots down at Turkey. There's no line of sight. Turkey playing this so well.
Yeah, Turkey doing a really good job here surviving so far. Senya as well doing a nice job for Russia, keeping himself up and running. But Australia now going to be pushing in because of this circle. Let's see if they can find an angle onto Turkey or Russia, or if maybe the vice versa might happen there.
All right, let's check this circle. Where are we going to go? Dead center. Fortunate for Turkey, they can find a way to just keep breaking this line of sight, stay alive, keep themselves out of Australia's crosshairs. Canada, meanwhile, on the western edge has 4 up. They have the entire western side to work with, really. I don't know if they're aware that Argentina is just below them, though.
Well, we'll see. Like you said, they did get a lot of utility from those crates. I saw the M249 in the hands of a member of Canada. Zoid trying to get the rip onto Iroh. Some damage coming through. Now launching this grenade. Let's see if he can get this to connect.
It's the last grenade he had in his pocket. They are going to find Mert. He's going to go down. Iroh just kind of hiding behind this tree as long as possible. I don't think he is going to be much longer for this world. Aussie has nothing else pressuring them besides this. They can just afford to stay here and wait until Iroh has to push from behind this tree.
Exactly. The circle is closing him in now. He might opt to just hang out behind this tree, try to get a res off or a grenade or something, but he does end up going down to the circle, and Turkey is out in 5th place.
And Australia keeping an eye on that kill feed, knowing that Iroh was that last player. So they immediately turn and try to go and get their high ground back here. Meanwhile, Argentina has managed to make their way up on the south side of the mountain here. Canada, as we said, still 4 strong. It looks like they may have spotted out a few of the Argentine players, though.
Yeah, you can see Moody's checking out their right-hand flank there. Rybox trying to get a grenade to land. Looks like it'll bounce past. Doesn't really do much damage there as they continue to try to work their way up this hill, but there goes Russia. Zoid finishes them off.
Senya staying alive for so long there, managing to eke out 4th place there for the Russian team. While we see Argentina utility, as we've been going back and forth between these players, you can see very, very low on the frag grenades at this point. Smokes still majorly in play. K-Mine holding on to 3 grenades in his pocket, though. This could be make a big difference here, but it's so hard to play these frag grenades on this terrain.
K-Mine got the information on where Australia is, not opting to go for that grenade just yet. Takes a little bit of damage from a headshot from Zoid there. The other members of Australia trying to push up here. Amali comes out on their left-hand side from, it looks like, Argentina.
We're looking at the mini-map right now. Canada is probably the closest to the center of the circle, but they have, I mean, you can see the lines of sight that they're having to work with here. All it's going to take is that first knock.
I think this is really smart by Argentina. If you can push Australia over, you can either force them into Canada or take maybe an advantageous fight. Look, they're all kind of grouped up right now. Is Australia, if somebody can get a grenade in there, it could be disaster.
Moody has the bullet hose just ready to go, waiting to see what he can spot. Here come all the smokes. This is all the utility that everybody has left over. No Molotovs are to be found here. I know that Canada has a few grenades. Argentina trying to find some angle to take on Australia here. They're going to get the down on a Vasily. That's another one on the inside. Pome making moves for Argentina here.
And Australia gets taken down in 3rd place. What a push, but what a grenade from K-Mine. Canada now 4 strong, looking to see if they can finish this out. There are only 2 standing here for Argentina.
They learned their lesson from the last game. They got the double down. They waited too long to push onto it. This time they are not waiting at all as they get the flush onto Pome. It's down to a 4v2. Maluk is going to spot out Rybox, and that's going to be him going down. It's all down to just, Nesta is going to be taken out. Rybox is down low. He's going to go down. Canada with the 9-kill win.
A huge game here for Canada. So well played by them. Top to bottom, they controlled the western edge of that circle so well, knocking out the top team in the tournament, taking Korea out, and then controlling that edge so well, finishing it out with a huge win for the western teams.
That was a hard-fought win for this Canadian squad. You saw how far they had to rotate, how many fights they had to take. As you said, having to fight their way through the first-place team in Korea, and they just had complete ownership of that western edge of the final circles there with 4 strong still.
Yeah, proving, I think they're seeing this, that right now the meta in this tournament is aggression. Aggression is paying off. Yes, the positioning can help, but if you're finding the fights and you're taking good fights, that is how you are going to win here.
Absolutely, and you got to get that confidence. You take these fights, you win the fights. That gives you that boost of confidence to where if you maybe find a couple of crates on yourself in the final circles, you feel even better about pushing into those fights.
Well, if you're aggressive and you're taking the offense, luck is going to find you. You are going to be able to take advantage of situations as they are presented because you are the one putting your foot forward first.
We can't neglect Argentina as well, coming in second